more waste, fraud, and abuse right here in Colorado. And to prove it, I'm going to read the headline from the Colorado Sun a day or so ago. Providing health care to immigrants, those would be illegal aliens, who are children or pregnant is costing Colorado 611% more than expected. How did you not expect this? The state predicts that the Covering All Coloradans, that the state legislature idiots got together, and it went through the House and the Senate, and this dumb cosplay governor signed it, Jared Polis. The program will cost Colorado nearly over $104.5 million in this fiscal year that began 1 July of last year. That's for 1 year. Nonpartisan fiscal analysts estimate the cost would be 14.7. Where the freak did you come up with that? These hoes popping out babies like Pop-Tarts, and somehow you think it's only going to cost $14.7 million? What did you do? Use the numbers from citizens from just one Colorado county? I'm just going to read a little bit, and then I'm going to give my commentary, as it were, because they're stealing my money to pay for these illegals. Providing health care to children and pregnant people.
Well, Linda's here too, huh?
Colorado Sun, hey, Linda. I'm tagging you in this. I'm going to need you to do better. Pregnant women who would qualify for dudes don't have children. Qualify for Medicaid. If not for their immigration status, that would be illegal. Will cost Colorado more than 6 times what was projected because of a higher than forecast enrollment. Jesus, are y'all really that dumb? Then you shouldn't be in charge. The state is expecting that the Cover All Coloradans program will cost the state $104.5 million in the fiscal year that began 1 July. Yeah, let me go down. A major cause of the shortfall is programs like Cover All Coloradans that the Democratic majority at the Capitol created in recent years. Yeah, thank you for noticing. So I don't need to go on too much more with that. If you want to read it, it's the Colorado Sun, and I think they're on X. I don't know, but I'm going to tag them if they are, because I am. Colorado, Denver was and still is considered a sanctuary city, and they are not getting all the federal money that they got during the previous circus, aka administration. And now they are scrambling, trying to figure out how to plug in all the holes. One of the ways that they have decided to do this is to overrule the so-called democracy, where the citizens of Colorado decide on the Tabor refunds. Tabor is a taxpayer bill of rights that we have to vote on it. But, of course, the Colorado legislature, that's full of nasty, fat, stupid, idiotic demons, they just decided, and I'm tagging them in this too, we're just going to go ahead and take all that money because we need that money, because they invited and took care of and supported all these illegals when Biden was in office, and now they can't figure out how to get all the money back because President Trump, thankfully, is not giving them a dime. And I would highly encourage the president, do not give Colorado one flipping red cent until they release Tina Peters from the prison that she doesn't deserve to be in, but that loser Brimolo Jenna Griswold should be in. Anyway, I was there when this happened. I watched it. I was downtown, just a brief story on Auraria campus, downtown, where the University of Colorado, Metro State, and a couple of other educational organizations, what the hell ever, are at this thing called the Auraria campus, downtown Denver. And when these illegals really first started showing up here, like 20 buses a day in Denver, because Aurora didn't ask for them, but they started dumping them there anyway. Mike Johnston, the cosplay mayor, the little skinny pants weirdo who lived in Vail and grew up in a rich ski town, like, oh my God, he invited and welcomed in all these individuals. I was on the Auraria campus when this shit first started. You got a church on the Auraria campus that was set up with food outside, full of illegals in the church sleeping. They were in the church. Outside, there were illegal dudes from Venezuela and every freaking where else that were smoking and getting a kick out of watching all the college girls that had just graduated. So this was May of, was it 2024? No, it was 2023. It's when this shit first kicked off real bad. Yeah, I was there and I saw this. I got a lot of this on video. Y'all welcomed this, and now you can't figure out why you're in the hole. But see, they're going to try to plug all the holes with higher property taxes, higher sales taxes. They'll probably raise the bag fee to like $75 a bag because they got to keep giving these social programs to illegals so they can get their vote. Colorado,
and so they can attract many more to come too.
Colorado is yet another California, Illinois.
Once they get total control like they have in California, then they change the elections so they can cheat from now on.
New York, and the people are just going to end up in red states because y'all don't know how to manage shit. Colorado needs money to take care of freaking illegals.
In chat there, I put a link to Gregory's video from earlier today. It was actually very good. When you get a chance to go back and take a peek at it. So anyways, all right, I'm going to bring up a whistleblower first before we get to that. This is a whistleblower about the medical industry here before I get to the fraud ones. All right, so we're going to bring up Brandy Vaughn, I think is her name.
The video I'm about to show you is very disturbing. It's of Brandy Vaughn, the ex-employee of Merck Pharmaceutical, who is a whistleblower. She has the organization learntherisk.org, and she was found dead yesterday. In this video, she documents the intimidation tactics that were taking place within her home and around her in order to silence her. At the end of the video, she says that she will not stop, that these mandatory vaccinations are for profit and not for public health. Keep that in mind when watching this video, that Merck is the vaccine company that makes the MMR vaccine, the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. I've screen recorded this video because of the censorship and because so many videos are disappearing. I encourage you to do the same.
Oh, John, you mean out in Colorado? Yeah. And every time there's an election, the Democrats always run these ads that the Republicans are going to take away their pot, you know. That's how they keep getting elected.
Please share this video. We owe it to Brandy to keep this fight going.
Hi, I'm Brandy Vaughn, and for those of you who don't know me, I have been an activist speaking out against SB 277 here in California.
Wow, what happened to our rights?
Yeah.
How did I sit back and let this happen?
Yeah.
This is a very slippery slope.
In this fight, I have been under a little bit of heat, and I wanted to document this just in case. I wanted to show some of the intimidation tactics that I've been under.
There is a lot of shady stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
I got involved in this fight because I used to work for Merck here in Santa Barbara where I live, and I worked there from 2001 until 2003, and I sold Vioxx for Merck. Vioxx was eventually taken off the market, and it was proven that Merck had knowledge that it increased heart attacks and stroke by 2 times, and it injured and killed a lot of people. It was eventually pulled off the market, and I lost a lot of faith in the healthcare system. I went to Europe, and then I came back with a 6-month-old son, and I was bullied at the pediatrician's office in San Francisco when I asked to see vaccine inserts and questions about them. that was a huge red flag for me because I already had mistrust of doctors and the healthcare system in general and pharma. And so I did a lot of research, and that was 4 years ago. And that was where my vaccine research started. And I realized that they were not very safe, actually, and not very effective. And I chose not to vaccinate my son. So when I heard about SB 277 in California.
Yeah, and that's kind of happening on YouTube too. You gotta, it's becoming, very protective of Islam on YouTube.
I decided that it was important that
Heather.
my voice was heard and that I was speaking up against it and part of the fight. So when I made that decision 3 months ago, I know that I knew I was going to take some heat for it, but I wasn't quite sure how much heat. And so I'm making this video today to describe the intimidation tactics that have been used against me to try and silence me. The first
they ended up killing her.
one happened when I was coming back from the Capitol, a rally in Sacramento against SB 277. We're not going away! We're not going away! We're not going away! We're not going away! And I came home with a friend to my hide key being on my
paid protesters
on my doorstep, open to the key. And the story behind this was a year ago when I bought my house, I hid that deep in the bushes. And 6 months ago, I had looked for it because I thought, well, it's probably not a good idea to have a key to my house right outside my door.
I would not be surprised if I made a copy to that key.
I couldn't find it, but when I came back from Sacramento, that one time, it was about 2 months ago, that the key was on my doorstep, open to the key. That day, I had my locks changed, and I called an alarm service, and I installed a $3,000 alarm system 2 days later. So what happened, apparently, is someone opened the door, the front door, went through the front door, picked the lock, and my alarm went off. And they immediately disarmed it with the master code, which nobody had but me. I made sure nobody else had that code. And they disarmed it at the panel with that code. Panel inside.
There might be some people watching through the other window somehow with a telescope and see what key code she puts in when she goes in herself.
According to the alarm company, at 3:45 in the morning, somebody entered in through the front door, the alarm went off. They disabled the alarm by putting in the master code right away into the panel. And then at 3:46 in the morning, my hallway monitor sensor went off. So someone went down the hall. And then at 3:48, someone opened my dining room window and then closed it right away. And then if you notice, the dining room window actually faces out towards the backyard, which is much more private than the front door, which they used to enter that time. And then they went over to the keypad, entered the code again, and then left through the front door at 3:49. After the incident, I talked to some security experts who have actually done intimidation for corporations, and they explained a few things. They said, well, A, they were probably tapping your place, so everything I say and do in here is listened to, if not watched. And then opening of the back window, because it's a much more private way to get in for future reference. For future visits. When I did return home, and the police came in and made sure nobody was here, and then I came in after the alarm was set off, after the break-in. And what I did notice was they had left this window unlocked, like this. And before I left for Sacramento, all
because she was going against the drug companies.
of the windows and doors were locked, double locked actually. I went through twice to make sure that they were locked. So after that happened, I didn't really feel comfortable sleeping in my house again because, of course, they could come in and disarm my alarm whenever they wanted. There wasn't really another way to secure the system. I changed the code, but again, who knows how they got the code in the first place. The security expert is pretty convinced that the house is tapped. My phone is being listened to, my conversation, my text messages, and then
Yeah, and those keypads, there's a different tone each time you press a different key, so maybe they're listening to the different tones too.
My computer, both my computers as well. The next thing that happened actually was with my computer. So one of the things that the police wanted to know was if anything was taken in the break-in. Of course, nothing was because they weren't here to take anything. I did have a computer here in a hiding spot. And when the police were here, I did actually come and look to make sure the computer was still here. And it's here above the microwave is its hiding spot. It's not a place anyone would know to look for the computer. And it's not, especially in being here in only 4 minutes. 2 days later, after that happened, after the break-in happened, I walked into my place to move some stuff out, and the computer was taken from its hiding place and put in the middle of the floor. And so I came back home to pick up some stuff. I wasn't staying here any longer. And that message was there, which was obviously very scary because clearly somebody had been listening in, if not watching, as to where the computer was. So after that, I decided that it would be best to get out of town, and I left town for a couple of weeks and really went off the grid for a good part of that. So after the computer incident and leaving town for 2 weeks, the day that I came back, I had a friend come with me, and him and I arrived at my place and found a ladder open right in front of my door, looking into the windows, the bedroom window. Now, this is my ladder, but this ladder lives in the garage. So it was clear that somebody had accessed the garage, brought out the ladder through the side of my house, opened it.
Usually you can go from the garage into the house. Usually there's a door there.
Looking right up into the window, and this happens to be the only window that I had blinds open. So that was quite a message. The security experts said, wow, what a better message than to say we're watching you. And this actually happened the day that I came back into town. So they clearly knew that, it happened the night before. They clearly knew when I was coming back. The neighbor who was feeding my dogs came over after half an hour after we found the ladder, and she asked, so what's with the ladder? And I said, I don't know. I mean, I didn't put it there. And she said, well, it wasn't there yesterday. So it means that it happened the night before I came back into town after 2 weeks. So clearly they are watching. The next incident was just 2 days later, and that's in the garage. This Buddha was on the floor. Normally the Buddha is pretty heavy. It was on here on top of the dog cage, holding the towel to cover it up at night for the dogs. So it was taken off of here, and there's really no way it could have fallen because, I mean, it's actually really heavy, and if it had fallen, it would have fallen, some different way. But I walked in and I found it right there on the ground. The pictures were also knocked over. So then 2 days later, I noticed it first through the kitchen window. And it's not something I have ever seen before, but there is a duck on my table. And when I talked to the security experts, I said, I don't understand the duck. And then it came to me that I had been on my phone having a lot of conversations about people asking me, you know, are you staying at your house? What are you going to do? And I used the term repeatedly, well, I'm not staying at my house. I feel like a sitting duck because they can get in at any time. And, you know, I'm a sitting duck. And so that was actually quite disturbing to come home to. Now I have a duck. I have never seen it before. It's not mine. Nobody else is having access that would bring a duck. It's a clear message that, again, they are watching me. And the intimidation is quite, intimidating. And it's quite scary. So after all of these intimidation tactics, it's very hard to feel safe and secure. But I am not going to go away. I mean, I'm not going to be silenced because these are important issues and we need to expose what's really going on behind the mandatory vaccination bills. It has nothing to do with public health. It has everything to do with profit. And I hope that we can all continue this fight. We may have lost the battle, but we still have a war to win. And hopefully by documenting this intimidation, they won't be able to get away with it in the future with me and with anyone else who speaks out. There is some evil going on here.
So they end up killing her. She ends up dying mysteriously. No explanation, I guess. All right, this next one's about Bill Gates is on trial in Amsterdam over the jab and all his involvement in poisoning us. Here's a little bit about that.
We can prove without any doubt that this official narrative of COVID-19 is fake. And the things are going so quick now. We also mentioned the Epstein files, which shows that there is a very evil elite led by bankers, really evil to this world and to all the people living here.
Yeah, you went quite hard. Sorry to cut you, because that was one of the most amazing things today, was to hear certain things said in that room about the fact there was these satanic elites. The Epstein files existed. Yes. These people aren't being prosecuted. There's a reason for that. And there's also a reason they're not saying anything. But you said what you said, and you left the justices, I'm not sure what you call your judges, left them with a thought, and it said that you have to decide who are the children of God and who are the children of the devil. Yes. And you were very heart-led and spirit-led, but also brutal with the truth. And it needs to be told in that way, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen.
See if I can fast forward.
But you don't have a choice. People act like you have a choice.
Bill Gates on trial. I would not have believed this was real had I not been in that courtroom myself. Right now in the Netherlands, there are 2 connected legal cases against Bill Gates, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla, former Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, now Secretary General of NATO, and other senior government officials and media. The first case, filed in June 2023 by 7 claimants
So this case is connected to several people dying so far.
Who were injured by the Pfizer COVID injections, is a full lawsuit that is still ongoing. It is live and it is moving through the courts. The second case, brought by 3 further petitioners in March 2025, is a procedural attempt to force an open pre-trial hearing where the claimants' expert witnesses could be questioned under oath and their testimony examined before the main trial. Those experts are Dr. Mike Yeadon, ex-VP of Pfizer, Sasha Latipova, ex-pharma executive, Catherine Austin Fitz, financial analyst, Joseph Sansoni, clinical psychologist, and Catherine Watts, a legal analyst. The 2 cases, both run by Dutch lawyer Peter Stassen, are tightly linked. Largely the same defendants, the same core allegations, well, the truth, the same proposed experts.
There was no pandemic. There was no new illness called COVID-19.
I've been litigating for over a year and a half to get the mRNA injections off the market because they're biological and technological weapons of mass destruction.
My peers in the pharmaceutical industry also knew this. So did the regulatory agencies like FDA.
This is all part of their plan.
I believe that the pandemic represented an egregious misuse of healthcare policies to implement economic and political agendas.
In my expert opinion, the COVID-19 injections are indistinguishable from weapons.
The COVID-19 nanoparticle injections are associated with neurological disorders, autoimmune diseases, heart problems, cancers.
The global scale on which this is.
My brother had the Johnson & Johnson one, and he's had to have 7 surgeries so far to get stuff out of his legs, and it's not a normal clot that you could bust with other means. You have to go into the groin and go down there and take it out.
Happening is unprecedented.
Whether it meets the definition of genocide is legal determination for the court.
They come from the political, pharmaceutical, media, and business sector. Among the defendants are Bill Gates, Albert Bourla, and Mark Rutte. And here comes the point. Suppressing the truth is immoral.
The 9th of March hearing was a procedural appeal asking the higher court to overturn a lower court decision that had refused the early evidence hearing application. No experts were required to testify on the 9th, although Sasha Latipova and Joseph Sansoni attended in person, as the hearing consisted solely of legal submissions from counsel to appeal the lower court's decision. Peter told me he will do everything he can to ensure the experts are heard in open court. The 9th of March appeal hearing, what I'm speaking to you about now, its outcome is not the final battle. The main lawsuit is still very much alive, and the next hearing is in October 2026. In a nutshell, and putting it mildly, the claimants are accusing Bill Gates, Albert Bourla, the Dutch state, and the media of unlawfully misleading the public through propaganda, fabrication, and a fake narrative, of lying about the safety and efficacy of the COVID jabs, ultimately leading to serious physical and psychological harm. They are asking the court to formally declare that unlawful wrongdoing occurred and to make the defendants legally accountable for the consequences. On 9th of March, Peter Stassen opened the appeal by sharply criticising the defendants' absence. But this is a civil case, and figures like Bill Gates and Albert Bourla weren't likely to attend in person. What matters is that their legal teams were there. They are formally before the court. They are defendants. They have lawyers. Jurisdiction has been confirmed. Their physical absence, no matter how disrespectful, did not and will not stop this case. In Peter Stassen's pleadings, read aloud in court, he came out swinging. He attacked, with evidence, the fraudulent PCR test as a diagnostic tool. He attacked the entire COVID narrative as fake. He stated,
Remdesivir by Fauci was all about killing people too.
It was pre-planned and part of a wider global project called the Great Reset. He called the COVID jab a bioweapon, a crime against humanity, and he called the global elites satanic. He named the Epstein files and Epstein's role. He put all this truth on the record in open court. And to hear this truth blow by blow spoken aloud to appellate judges in a high court is unprecedented. I need to share some of what he said, his exact words, though hearing them from me cannot capture the force with which they were delivered in open court. In court, lawyer Peter Stassen said, on the global elite...
Colin, we need him to go down in court first, so the other people go down with him in the courts. Otherwise, there's no trials if he dies before that, Bill Gates.
Network. There is a globally organized malicious elite. At the top of this elite are at least some of the families who own the central banks worldwide.
Yeah, it's not working yet.
On Jeffrey Epstein, he said, Mr. Epstein
Does anyone know anything about the chat thing there, the messaging?
Plays an important role in this network. He is the banker's agent. Epstein is shaping the transhuman agenda, which is largely driven by the desire to eradicate much of the world's population. On a satanic system, he said.
I had two or three friends die from it, and then some other people got the palsy thing. Other people had the clot things, myocarditis information.
Bankers, secret services, media, Hollywood figures, government officials, universities, and many scientists are corruptly.
Does anyone know what's going on with them fixing it? What the issue is? Is it part of the all upgrading thing?
Connected to this network and serve this transhuman, let's just say satanic, mind-bending system. On COVID and genocide, he said, we are witnessing the largest genocide of the world's population ever. This is a key.
It's making a lot of people in Christian countries unfertile. It seems like it was targeted at us.
Component of the COVID-19 agenda, which the defendants are executing. On vaccines as bioweapons, he said, the COVID-19 mRNA injection is a military biological weapon system. COVID-19 was not a public health incident, but a covert global military operation. On deception and criminality, he said, it is now common knowledge that the official COVID-19 narrative is incorrect. We are dealing with professional liars. The defendants are working together to commit a criminal act. On media and institutional control, he said, the executors of the COVID-19 project control the political, media, and the scientific landscape. On the Epstein files, he said, the Epstein files prove that the democratic rule of law is being undermined by a malicious elite targeting the population.
John, we need to replace a lot of these judges too. That's part of the issue.
These files are a psychological operation to further facilitate the Great Reset.
Bestaat een wereldwijd georganiseerde kwaadaardige elite. In de top van deze elite zitten in ieder geval een aantal.
Does anyone talk to Jason and what's going on when they expect to have it fixed on the messaging?
Van de families die de eigenaren zijn van de centrale banken die wereldwijd het recht hebben gekaapt om geld uit het niets te maken. Zij zijn degenen die dit geld tegen rente
Basically what he's saying, it's all about the money.
Aan de overheden uitlenen en zich verrijken ten koste van de belastingbetaler. De heer Epstein vervult een belangrijke rol in dit netwerk. Hij is zaakbehartiger van de
So Epstein had a part in the bankers on this whole thing.
Bankiers en ook een zeer belangrijk persoon.
So they did it so they'd all together with Epstein make a lot of money.
Bij de trilaterale commissie die door de Rockefellers, eveneens een bankiersfamilie, in het leven is geroepen. De heer Epstein is een zelfverklaard transhumanist. Iemand die niets op heeft met...
Dan, the other thing with a lot of these judges, a lot of them are pedos and stuff like that, so maybe they can blackmail them. And
de schepping van de mens, tenzij deze tot de geldadel behoort. In opdracht van zijn superieuren geeft Epstein vorm aan de transhumane agenda, die voor een belangrijk deel wordt gevormd door de wens om de wereldbevolking grotendeels uit te roeien. Deze transhumane agenda is een belangrijk deel van de Great Reset agenda, waarvan verweerders uitvoerders zijn. Nu zijn deze Epstein-files voor een deel, circa 3,5 miljoen van de meer dan 5 miljoen pagina's, met veel zwarte strepen vrijgegeven. En deze files getuigen van betrokkenheid van bankiers, geheime diensten, media, Hollywoodfiguren,
maybe post on his page.
Overheidsfunctionarissen, universiteiten en ook vele zogenaamde wetenschappers, die allemaal op corrupte wijze in dit netwerk zijn verbonden en in dienst staan van dit transhumane, zeg maar gerust.
So he's talking about a Satan thing. They think they kind of did it because of their Satan worshippers.
Satanische gedachtegoed. Iedereen die de rechtvaardigheid niet doet, is niet uit God. Evenmin als hij die zijn broeder niet lief heeft. En hier, aan deze zijde, wordt geen rechtvaardigheid gedaan bij het verweer dat men maar voert. Men had deze deskundigen moeten omarmen, omdat zij de waarheid lief hebben. En dan moet u zelf maar beslissen wie hier de kinderen van God zijn en wie hier de kinderen van de duivel zijn.
As I sat in the courtroom with headphones in my ears and the English translation, I was sitting directly behind Peter Stassen, and in the front row next to Sasha Latipova, I felt his words physically. I had goosebumps, sharp intakes of breath, and a little shock, really, at what he stated so confidently and unwaveringly and so bravely in that room. For the first time in 6 years, I felt we are getting so close to the exposure some of us have fought, suffered, and waited for. The most expensive propaganda campaign in human history, the millions dead, likely billions harmed. Some of us stood against it from the outset and have waited for a moment like this, not truly really believing it would ever happen. We are still far from justice. But the point is, these words were spoken in such a place, in a public domain, and as usual, it's our job to make sure it's seen and heard, because the media is predictably silent. In response to Stassen's statement, of course, the defendant...
And social media will take it down for putting it up there.
His lawyers stonewalled completely. Not surprising, it's textbook strategy. The less they say, the less they have to prove. Delay, obfuscate, run down the clock. Anyone who understands hard litigation like Peter sees it for what it is. Their aim is simple. Drag this out, commit to nothing, give away as little as possible, but they won't be able to hide like that for much longer. Sooner or later, they'll have to put evidence and a full defense on the table. Instead, they fixated on attacking Stassen's litigation style, nitpicking procedure, and repeating the same tired lines that there was a pandemic and that the jabs were safe and effective. That was the entirety of their play.
De ziekte COVID-19 bestaat. Er is een pandemie geweest en de vaccins tegen COVID-19 zijn veilig en effectief.
Mrs. Murring, speaking on behalf of the defendants...
You just gotta laugh at him these days if you hear him keep repeating still safe and effective. Bullcrap.
Was one of 9 lawyers in the room, spoke for about 3 minutes. Some were shocked by this brief response, but Peter wasn't. I mean, I wasn't. It's simply a tactic that will only last for so long. And of course, the mainstream media was not present and is silent. Of course they won't touch it. People shouldn't be shocked by that. So I spoke to Peter afterwards, and I have absolutely no shame, but I am truly fangirling at this point, as you can probably tell.
We have 2 procedures. One already started in June 2023. It's a main procedure where the central thesis is COVID-19 is not a disease but a project. And the defendants in that case are executors of this COVID-19 project. And this main litigation is already going on for over 2 years. And what is very important is that this narrative that our opponents have, the COVID-19 narrative, is so strong. They have so many scientists backing this up, but these are not true scientists.
Mm-hmm.
These are fanatici.
Yeah.
And we need to break through that. So I had the luck that
ones that are paid to say whatever they want them to say.
3 other clients came to me and they said, well, we maybe also want such a litigation, but we don't know if it will succeed. And especially for this question, we have in the Netherlands a procedure which only gathers evidence. And I thought that's a really great idea, because if we start with evidence, because it's all about evidence, then the litigation that they want, we can already know that they will win it, because if you have the evidence, then you win. So what is really important about evidence? Really important is that you have evidence that was made by experts before a court, under oath, with the possibilities of the defendants to say and ask what they want to say, to have contra experts. So I thought, yeah, we have a procedure in the Netherlands which is only about evidence, so I will start it. And the good thing, if you look in the law says you will win this procedure except when you abuse the law. So I thought this cannot be a problem because there is no abuse here whatsoever. So we started this litigation at the court in Leeuwarden, and we put forward the 5 experts you already introduced. And I thought this must be good. And for some reasons, you can read them in the verdict, but it's all very far short. They said this is abuse of the law. So I didn't accept that. For my clients, I cannot accept such a verdict in such a principal case. So what I did is I appealed this decision. And then I have the problem that in the law is stated you cannot appeal. So, but luckily in the Netherlands, we also have a kind of case law which says if there are fundamental rights in a litigation, if they are damaged, then we can do this. So,
and would that be, is it Article 6? Have you argued Article 6?
Article 6 I have argued, but there's one even far more fundamental norm in law. And this is that every party is obliged to tell the truth. So you need to tell the truth to the judge so that he can make an informed decision.
Yeah.
And this is where it all bottles down. What happens is that we can now, with the facts which are generally known, we can prove without any doubt that this official narrative of COVID-19 is fake. And the things are going so quick now. We also mentioned the Epstein files, which shows that there is a very evil elite led by bankers, really evil to this world and to all the people living here.
Yeah, you went quite hard. Sorry to cut you, because that was one of the most amazing things today, was to hear certain things said in that room about the fact there was these satanic elites. The Epstein files existed. These people aren't being prosecuted. There's a reason for that. And there's also a reason they're not saying anything. But you said what you said, and you left the justices, I'm not sure what you call your judges, left them with a thought, and it said that you have to decide who are the children of God and who are the children of the devil. And you were very heart-led and spirit-led, but also brutal with the truth. And it needs to be told in that way, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen. We don't have a procedure at all like this in the United Kingdom to try to get evidence on record before any kind of hearing. And obviously it's connected to the other case that you have with the 7 plaintiffs who are obviously injured, any bereaved. I think one of them has passed away.
Yes.
And that's the most tragic thing as well.
Carl, and it was effective just the way they wanted it to affect us.
Lots of people know about the censorship and the silencing of this and the pain that people suffer. But you are unlike any lawyer I have ever met before.
Thank you.
And I was typing, so everyone will see what you said and what the court said to you today in English. I was fast typing the whole thing for the translation. But you had 9 lawyers. I think it was 9 for the defendants. And just yourself. And yeah, you did an incredible job. But I love what you said in that courtroom today.
Yeah, because if you look at what's really happening, this is historic. Because I put in this court, in this high court, I put the evidences of Sasha Latipova. I put all the videos in. I put the evidence of Catherine Bott. And all the evidence is there lying that it's truly a bioweapon.
Yeah.
That's the point. In fact, it was already proven when I walked into the court. Not in the way that I want, under oath, but it's proven anyway. And I also asked for an injunction procedure. And what I now can show, and that's of course the situation for the defendants, I can show very clear that they all stick together, say nothing, the evidence is lying on the table.
Yeah.
And you can make very clear to the judge that what you are looking at is in fact the exercise of the mafia code, because that's what's really happening. And they just say nothing. They say these of safe and effective vaccines, and the proof is there, and everybody in the courtroom knows they are lying. And this is something I want to very clearly point out. So my first job is to show the judges that they don't speak the truth. And I think nobody can deny that. That was very clear in this court hearing, and the evidence is there. And if you don't speak the truth and you lie to the judges and you twist the legal system, that's what happened in first instance, then this court needs to appeal this decision. And I think we could make this very clear, and that was also great that some of the experts were in the courtroom, that there was a lot of support for this case. And now it's already proven that they do not react, they do not take care of the civilians. And
no, in no way. And Mike's made no secret about the fact that the jab, and specifically the Pfizer mRNA jabs, were toxic by design, because you don't by accident put those chemicals together in that toxic cocktail. Like, he's been very strong on that, and you've been very strong.
And then use them on the bats to see how they can create this in the bat and then get it to transmit to humans.
Strong on what you just said now and what you said in the courtroom, and like I say, it was epic to be in there today to listen to that, to say that the narrative is all a lie. It's all based on a lie. And the last point is that the other side had nothing to say today. They had nothing to offer. You had someone appear on the screen for Albert Baller, I think.
Yeah, it was a Pfizer
legal representation.
Yes.
Yeah, and somebody else as well. But out of those 9 lawyers, you had that one woman speak for perhaps, I don't know, 3-4 minutes.
Exactly.
And they're not offering anything. They're not speaking about anything, because if they did offer evidence, obviously we know that, or you know, that you and the expert witnesses
would crush it, for sure.
could absolutely, and that's what's going to happen as well. So I've got all the faith. And just last words for people that are watching in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's great if you look at this case and follow it. We will really try to do our best to bring out the truth, and I'm committed to not stop.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been amazing to be a part of this today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am deeply grateful that I was invited to be a part of this, to witness this historic moment. As a law student, as someone who has spent 6 years fighting for truth, justice and freedom, being arrested, charged, convicted repeatedly, being ostracized, hated, headlines that were meant to mock and humiliate me, that only spurred me on, really. I was called an anti-vax conspiracy theorist, as were so many of you. So this moment felt like something else entirely. Not victory, not yet, but vindication. Such truth put on record and spoken in a high court, unlike anything I have ever experienced. At the press conference afterwards, Peter broke down exactly what had just happened in court and doubled down without hesitation. He put it bluntly, publicly, and on the record once again.
Today was, I think, historic. And why it was historic? Because we had the chance to be very clear and to show very well what is actually happening if we look at the role of our defendants, which are executors of the project COVID-19, the Great Reset. Before we went in the courtroom, and Abe already said it was an appeal, there was the evidence of our great experts, Sasha Latipova, Joseph Sanson, Catherine Austin-Fist, Catherine Watt, and who I forget, Mike Eden, the great Mike Eden. This evidence was lying there in the court. The judges had seen it, and they know that COVID-19 is not a vaccine, but a bioweapon. That's the sad truth. And what's more fundamental than the truth? There's nothing more fundamental than the truth, because without truth, you cannot have a fair trial. That's impossible. So, my basic argumentation is there was no truth. So, this was not a fair trial. And what I did today is I explained to the judges, the Raadsheren as we call them in the Netherlands, that the official COVID-19 narrative is fake. Explained that we nowadays have Epstein files, and this is a novum. And these files help us a lot, because what governments say and also the Dutch governments, they say
really what their game was, the pedophiles wanted to take over the world.
All this complottheorieën, as we say in Dutch,
hey Kurt,
all this conspiracies, thank you, I have the best audience in the world, and all these conspiracies are not true. And now we have the Epstein files telling us that there is an evil elite which is against humanity and is trying to rob and kill us. It's as clear as can be. The truth is out. So the first thing the judges had to consider is the fact that the state of the Netherlands was lying to them when the state of the Netherlands says that all these conspiracies of an evil elite are not true. So that was a nice novum to bring in, and to see that time is also on our side. We are getting stronger and stronger. Yes. We are winning the information war.
Judgment on the appeal will be delivered on the 9th of April. The main lawsuit continues in October, and yes, I will be following and covering both all the way until the very end. I am also a realist. In the past 6 years, we have all seen far too much to keep pretending otherwise. Illusions are gone. Trust is gone. Whatever the outcome of these hearings, these cases, they already matter because they have exposed fault lines that can no longer be hidden, even if they are silent.
We need jail time, lots of jail time.
Even if they are distorted, even if they are buried, especially then. Because truth that must be buried is truth that was dangerous enough to matter. We know what was said in that courtroom, we know what was asserted, and we know the forces that operate behind closed doors, the interests that would rather suffocate truth than face it in the light. If this is buried, it will not be because it lacked meaning, it will be because it had too much of it. Because moments like this are not really about verdicts, they are about exposure. They are about testing whether institutions still have the spine to withstand pressure or whether they fold when it matters most. And everyone is watching. So I will take these small wins because history is not built on sudden miracles. This is a trial beyond the courtroom. It is now a test for the judiciary. Now the question is whether justice will reveal what it can still become. So it's no surprise the mainstream media is silent. That's why I'm traveling to these hearings from the UK and working hard to keep you informed. It also makes it our responsibility to push this out. So please share this, please share the links, please share the information. I strongly urge you to follow the expert witnesses' work. You can find information on my website at coffeeleaks.co.uk under the narrative on trial, with much, much more to come. So please keep talking about this, keep watching, keep sharing. What happened in Amsterdam Court of Appeal will not end there. It will echo, because sometimes precedent is not declared, it is forged. And history remembers exactly who stood firm and who chose to kneel.
Amen on that. I don't know, where does everyone think that's going to end up? We're going to see people like Bill Gates and that go down, and the people around him and all that. And we need more than him to go down. You know, as much as I'd like him to die and that, I don't want him to die before we catch some of the other ones that were part of the responsibility myself. Okay, James O'Keefe went undercover about all this scamming going on out in LA with the voters, buying votes and all that kind of stuff and all that. A lot of you have probably seen clips from this, but here's the whole version. Here we go.
Now we're gonna give you $2. Oh, we just need 14 signatures.
The petitioner Brenda Brown hands cash money to the homeless person, not only for signing the California ballot initiative, but also as payment for them to register to vote.
Now, because you haven't registered, I need to register you so I can get paid too. Okay, you guys, I need to get paid.
That is a federal.
Let me see if I can website address. Let's see if I don't know if I deleted that video already. I think I did. I already have deleted it. Dang it. Well, you can play this back later and get it, okay, Heather?
Felony. And it didn't just happen once. It happened over and over and over again. We personally witnessed and covertly filmed this happening at least 28
See all the cash changing hands? How do they have that much cash to carry around to pay all these people?
times over the span of our investigation, and that is just in Los Angeles. Many of the homeless have zero understanding of what it is that they're actually signing.
But what is our petition for?
Yeah, out in Philadelphia, they have more people voting than there is people.
You know the petition for? I do not know what to say.
The petitioners instruct the homeless to enter made-up addresses like Pinocchio Lane.
What do I put as my address?
Yeah, just put up. You live on Pinocchio Lane.
Oh, you can just fake it.
Oh, good.
And all of this occurring just outside the front doors of shelters and NGOs such as Weingart Center, which have received hundreds of millions of dollars in government money. One Weingart employee tells us when and where to find the illegal cash exchanges for signatures outside, and says the cash being given out is coming from a higher source.
Do you know if they provide the money that they're handing out?
Yeah,
The company
that's
that.
what they do. When they give the money out, they got to go back and tally up if they stealing the money or not. So they got to have signatures. Most of them be right across the street under that tree. You can check with them Monday through Friday.
While another Weingart employee advises the homeless on how to practice plausible deniability and ignorance of the law.
See, they say ignorance is not excuse for the law. But a lot of times I have to say I didn't know. I had no idea.
Oh, that would be what he should say.
He should say.
Yeah. The petitioners orchestrate an elaborate pyramid scheme of unregistered petition circulators.
If I were to hire you, you would be under me. Yes. I'm under my son, I'm under him, and you under me. So it's like a pyramid game. And really, I don't need you, you need me. I don't need you.
One of the petitioners threatens to attack one of our journalists.
The only way justice is happening is if we keep after it, John. We got to keep after it.
Go down the street, bro, before we move you down the street. I'll knock you out looking right at me.
Bro, why are you trying to be like that, bro?
Say I won't knock your ass out. Bitch ass nigga, don't come over here again. I'm gonna beat your ass.
And an employee of the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority records not the fraud, but the people exposing it.
That you okay?
Hey, Gregory, I put a link, if you scroll up, a link to your video so people can watch it later. That was, I have to say, that was very good. Very spot on, the video did earlier today. So I shared the link. In fact, I'll post it again in the chat.
Why are you filming?
Why are you filming us? I'm with the LAPD.
You know it's a crime to say you're with the police when you're not.
No, I'm not with the LAPD.
Well, that's what you just said 2 minutes ago. Why did you lie?
As the NGOs pretended to be the police in order to intimidate us, I began to wonder whether we're still living in America. The Department of Justice has been sent these tapes of election fraud cash exchange for voter registration happening in broad daylight, and we have informed the Department of Justice there are more tapes coming. There will be a new tape dropping every day until someone is arrested or indicted. George Washington said the administration of justice is supposed to be the firmest pillar of government. But if democracy is for sale and there is no accountability as a result of this video, it doesn't matter who is elected. Our notion of freedom is all just an illusion.
What if there used to be something called an investigative reporters?
Throughout Los Angeles, especially during protests, there are hundreds of petition circulators and activists canvassing on the street to gather thousands of signatures for various petitions.
All paid for by NGOs, which are using our tax dollars.
With the objective of getting them onto the voting ballot.
We have 13 different statewide petitions. Each one is for a different cause. Now, which organization are you with?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I
I don't know.
I put it there so other people can watch it.
I don't know what organization I'm with. I have to give them a call.
It says we the
Populous.
Populous Inc. is a branch of CO Management Solutions, a campaign consulting firm dedicated to helping important issues make it to the ballot. These political consulting firms receive multi-million-dollar contracts from big businesses such as Uber or Delta Airlines to employ petition circulators and pay them to gather signatures on specific petitions that would benefit their business. These petition circulators are paid per signature, and they're paid surprisingly well.
$7 a signature, $7 a signature, $5 a signature, $4 a signature.
Okay, I got
$10
you.
$10 a signature, $10 a signature.
That's pretty good money right there.
That's very good money.
That's big money.
That is like, yes.
And how much money, like, would you make on it?
I make?
Yeah.
I try to make over $1,000 a day.
That's a lot of money. Not only did we find these petitions being pushed on protesters outside City Hall, but we also
It's about $365,000 a year or more.
found them being promoted to the homeless in the depths of Skid Row. So my team and I dressed up as homeless people and went undercover. Before heading out there, I had to get in character.
I wonder if they can make themselves smell that bad.
Out of pictures. Out of pictures. Out of pictures. Out of pictures. They not the picture, I'm the picture. They not the picture, I'm the picture.
We walked a few blocks through Skid Row, past the intersection of San Pedro and 6th Street, and almost immediately, to our surprise, we found petitioners who were actually offering homeless people money in exchange for signatures on the ballot petitions. $2 to be exact, in exchange for their signatures.
You got a light, bro? Cigarette. You want a cigarette? Bro, you want six?
We're gonna petition $2 upset the park. Now we're gonna give you $2.
Oh,
we just need 14 signatures.
Oh, what is it for?
Save the park, save the streets, save basically everything to help save the kids. We all doing it.
Means more and more federal spending that they're going to get money out of, money laundering.
What's the name of the group?
Save the Kids Foundation.
Save the Kids Foundation? So is it like voting or is it like
everything?
Notice the $20 bill pinned to this man's shirt. This is a signal to all nearby homeless people that he is a source of the money. Paying citizens to sign petitions is a violation of California Elections Code 18603, which states, quote, every person who offers or gives money or other valuable consideration to another in exchange for his or her signature on a state, county, municipal, or district initiative, referendum, or recall petition is guilty
We got to shut it all down, shut every bit of it down.
of a misdemeanor.
Really have to change the law so there's no such thing as NGOs anymore. Period.
What?
Sign a petition, get a free cigarette.
One cigarette? Well, I just need one signature right here and right here. You get 2 cigarettes.
But it wasn't just
Oh, it's a short one. Watch it later, Tammy. It's pretty good.
cash that we saw exchanged for
Gregory's
signatures.
video.
We also saw the homeless being bribed with cigarettes and even drugs, marijuana, and all of that is
Marianne, I don't think I'd be good at acting like as if I was on drugs. I've never done drugs, so I don't know. I've seen some people like that. I guess I could do part way like that.
considered valuable consideration. And according to the petitioner that we spoke with earlier, it would be a crime just to give out water to anyone who is signing petitions.
Now, you don't give people money to sign it.
That's illegal.
Oh, that's illegal.
I can't even hand out water.
Really? You can't even hand out water? It's very hot in Los Angeles.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like voter ID. Or no, not voter ID. It's voter fraud.
But he's going to get paid for each signature.
They will call it.
Voter fraud?
Yeah, you're basically enticing somebody. Hey, if you sign all these, I'll give you a free water.
Our undercover journalist continued to engage with this group in Skid Row and found the majority of homeless people who were being paid to sign, as you might expect, didn't even know what it was they were signing.
Petitions.
What are we doing?
$3 petitions. You're gonna sign 9 papers. What's your signature?
And what is
date, address, And then after 9, they're gonna give you an additional one more sign. After that one more, you get $3.
But what is that petition for? You know
What is the petition for?
me getting.
What is it? I do not know.
They were also encouraging the homeless to just make up random addresses, such as Pinocchio Lane.
What do I put as my address?
Yeah, just put up. You live on Pinocchio Lane.
Oh.
Oh, you can just like fake it.
Oh, good.
This woman, named Brenda Brown, acknowledges that if the person signing isn't a registered voter, she won't get paid $7 for the signature.
No, you have to do this.
Is this additional money?
Yeah, because you haven't registered, I need to register you so I can get paid too. I'm paying you guys, I need to get paid.
She was probably getting paid. She just gets more if she gets them registered.
Brown also has a stack of voter registration forms so she can get the homeless people to first register to vote.
I'm paying you guys, I need to get paid.
They're not worried about them actually voting. They just want the names so they can use them to vote for them.
The petitioner, Brenda Brown,
Yeah, they'll use them. Really, what they really want them for is the voting more than anything.
then hands cash money to the homeless person, not only for signing the California ballot initiative, but also as payment for them to register to vote. That is a federal felony, 52 U.S.C. 10307. Whoever knowingly or willfully pays or offers to pay or accepts payment for registration to vote shall be fined not more than $10,000 and imprisoned not more than 5 years. You can pay workers to circulate petitions, but you cannot give someone cash money to make them register to vote. You can actually see in the hands of the fraudster a copy of the California voter registration card. And this didn't just happen once. It happened over and over and over and over again. We witnessed it 28 times on video. We spoke to a nearby homeless person who claims the petitioners are scheming and seems to be very aware that they're taking advantage of the homeless population's desperation.
They scheme, man. I don't like.
And that's kind of why they need the homeless. They need the issue so they can keep money laundering. They spend, what, $90,000 or some ridiculous amount per homeless person.
See, I don't care. I turn their ass in because I don't like that shit. I mean, we out here poor as fuck. Y'all work, you get paid for doing it. And then if you got weed, somebody that like weed, they keeping all of them.
So sometimes they're paying them with the pot.
Damn, I can buy my own weed.
One of our journalists must have asked one too many questions because eventually the petitioner threatened to, quote, move him down the street and proceeded to follow, threatening to, quote, beat his ass.
I don't have a California address.
Find somebody, one of your homies or something that got one, come bring them to us.
If I bring them to you, then I could get a cigarette too, though?
You really irritating.
But why are you so fucking hostile,
This is
bro?
my petition. This is my petition. This not even his. You asking the wrong nigga. This my shit. So you asking the wrong nigga anyway. So you.
So if I just start new, I come back and I just tell you.
Just go down the street, bro. Before we move you down the street. Yeah, it's really like that, bro. I'll knock you out looking right at me. I'll knock you out looking right at me.
Bro, why are you trying to be like that, bro? I just want a cigarette.
They won't knock your ass out. Bitch ass nigga, don't come over here again. I'm gonna beat your ass.
Previously, in 2019, 9 individuals were prosecuted by the Los Angeles DA for this exact crime. They were exchanging cigarettes and cash for petition signatures, but none of it was on video, and it wasn't captured to this extent. There were 14 counts, primarily focused around payment for signatures, a violation of that California Elections Code 18603, claiming they had, quote, offered or gave money or other valuable consideration to another in exchange for his or her signature. So we found it particularly ironic that 2 police officers sitting nearby weren't even aware that this was a state or federal crime. Instead, Officer Maravilla of the LAPD dismissed it as a, quote, civil lawsuit.
Do you know a lot of these people here that are making homeless sign petitions and paying cash for it?
I haven't seen them. I mean, I've seen when they signed some type of paperwork, but I didn't know what they were doing. And I saw them at that, right here at the light over here in the back.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what it was for. Like maybe like 2 weeks ago, I saw them signing for something, but I didn't know if they were getting like money in exchange.
Yeah, I think they're getting like $2-3 from what I observe.
Yeah.
Is that legal?
I mean, if it's non-profit, I mean, they're signing it. It's a consensual. It's more of a civil thing, you know. Like they're not. telling them no, and maybe if they promise them something and they don't get it, it would be like a civil lawsuit type thing.
The law enforcement officers sitting nearby on Skid Row every single day don't know the California laws and plead ignorance. It begs the question, what are they even doing? And directly across the street from all of this is a homeless shelter called the Weingard Center, a, quote, comprehensive human services organization committed to removing barriers that keep people from housing. The 990 tax return shows the Weingard Center received $112 million through various grants in 2022, their latest public return, and that they have over $800 million in net assets. Weingard Center also pays their executives between $400,000 and $600,000 a year. Weingard has been missing their audit deadlines by an alarmingly large and increasing margin, 21 months late last year. With
Marianne, I think part of the thing is it's just so overwhelming how much of this is going on. It's hard to shut it all down, you know. Got to start somewhere, though.
8 negative findings. An article in LAist states that one of LA's biggest homeless service providers has been awarded over $100 million in taxpayer funds while failing to comply with federal audit mandates. The audits show multiple failures by Weingard Center to properly account for taxpayer money that were not remedied from one year to the next. One of Weingard's primary funding sources is LASA, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. We couldn't help but wonder, what would people that work for LASA say about this voter fraud in Skid Row when directly asked? We attended this special commission meeting to find out. We spoke to Kathy Linga, who says she's seen the people petitioning for money and teaches the prospective fraudster on how to use plausible deniability and to practice ignorance of the law as an excuse.
Because I think I want to get him some little cash right away. They were giving out cash for him to sign petitions. Okay.
So let me just have you meet Brian.
That'd be
We
great.
can't help you. Then go to the next, go to Skid Row and see if there's people out there with clipboards.
With clipboards in there and see if they will give him the cash for the petitions.
Yes.
And do you think that's okay? I don't want him to get in trouble though. Do you think it's okay for him to sign?
Well, I mean,
Do you think that's legal?
we don't even, if they, see, they say ignorance is no excuse for the law. But a lot of times I have to say I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
How did I know? I don't have a TV. I don't have a home. My cell phone only works half the time. How did I know this? And I can't afford a lawyer to ask.
Oh, that would be what he should
He
say.
should say.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Somebody's offering you money and you're angry.
Another Weingard employee, intake coordinator Jason Warren, tells our undercover journalist exactly where and when to find the petitioners who are breaking the law.
I wanted to see if we can get where the petitions that are being signed to get cash so he can get some couple of dollars. Do you know where they are located?
I don't know where those is at. Most time they be outside in the front, or you got to go to the GR building where those at. The GR is going to be on third place in Alameda.
What is GR?
GR is General Relief.
Oh.
Most time they be right across the street under that tree. You can check with them Monday through Friday.
Warren also claims the petitioners have to gather a certain amount of signatures and then provide proof to show that they aren't stealing the money, which is apparently provided to them by a higher authority, according to Jason Warren.
But I don't want him to get into any trouble or anything. Is that okay for him to accept cash for signing petitions?
Yeah, it's okay because they're not going to go through his stuff and stuff. They just want to sign them up to get a name. When they give the money out, they got to go back and tally up if they stealing the money or not. So they got to have signatures.
Oh, got it. Because they give him money to get signatures.
Yeah.
But they have to come back with
You
a
got to
certain
come back
amount.
to them because if you come back and your money don't add up to your signature, then they got to come out your pocket.
Got it. So do they also provide, do you know if they provide the money that they're handing out?
Yeah,
the company
that's
does. Oh.
We also spoke to an employee from First to Serve, a nonprofit homeless housing operator.
You keep them desperate, and then they can get people to do whatever.
His name's Tyson, and he openly acknowledges the existence of this fraudulent petitioning scheme and demonstrates it's an open secret.
What agency are you with? Go ahead.
Oh, First to Serve. Yeah.
So do you just help people hook up?
Yeah, I work at a site, at a homeless shelter site.
You know, we all need a little cash, and I was trying to find You know, those petitioners that are paying for signatures?
I heard of that, yeah.
You do? And what do you know? Do you know where they hang out so that I can go to them? I want to get some cash.
I already know the petitioners that. They be all over.
As our undercovers continued to engage with the petition circulators, we found that most of them aren't even registered with an official campaign. Brenda openly refers to it as a pyramid game.
You can work with me because I do need help. I do go to different places. When I come down here, I have to give them money to encourage them, just to encourage them. You selling your signatures to them, so you're your own boss.
Yeah, but I want to know who the them are because I want to make sure that I'm in the right side. You know what I mean?
Okay, so it's like a pyramid game. If I were to hire you, you would be under me.
Yes.
I'm under my son. I'm under him, and you under me. I would be paying you something right now, like cash. Like you've seen some people working with me.
Yeah.
They work with me. I give them like $60 right up front when they got through working. So that's how I'm doing my people right now.
When I tell you I'm in, I'm all in. But I need to know who I'm in with.
Okay, me. Okay.
I need to know that company.
You can't. Hey, darling. You can't. Because you know why you can't? It's not your work. You can't know that. You can't know that.
Gotcha.
Because she signs the work, so she only knows that.
And really, I don't need you. You need me. I don't need you.
The petitioner says the homeless person needs them because the homeless person needs money, emphasizing the desperation they're taking advantage of. And these predator fraudsters operating in broad daylight in a criminal conspiracy are taking advantage of a fundamental American right to vote. And when this is abused, it is a gateway to overturning democratic elections.
We have a petition to impeach Donald Trump. And everybody asked me that too. They asked me that, and they asked me here, and they asked me all the stories. That's one of the main things.
You would think that the people working in these institutions would record or at least talk about the fraud that they witnessed and that we witnessed. But instead, the people working in the homeless institutions started to record us.
That you don't care? Who are you? Why are you filming? Why are you filming us? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you with? 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 I'm with LAPD. I'm sorry? I'm with LAPD. You're with the Los Angeles Police? Yeah. Can I see some identification? Yeah. Can I see some identification? Yeah. Can I see yours?
This man first falsely identified with the LAPD in order to intimidate me. Under California law, pretending to be a police officer is a misdemeanor. That's California Penal Code 538D. When I informed
Surprised it's not more than a misdemeanor.
The man that this was a crime, he quickly backed down and revealed the truth.
You know it's a crime to say you're the police when you're not. So tell me, why did you say that you're in the police? Why did you lie?
Who's lying?
You just said that you were the LAPD.
No, I'm not with the LAPD.
Well, that's what you just said 2 minutes ago.
I'm with the LAPD.
Who are you with?
I'm with the Homeless Outreach.
What organization? What organization?
LASA.
What is it called?
LASA.
He reveals that he's with LASA. That's right, the same LASA, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. What's interesting about that is that LASA is the organization which provides an overwhelming majority of the funding that Weingart Center receives. And LASA is the organization that Weingart has been failing to deliver their audits to. We found it so alarming that people working for these institutions made an effort to intimidate us out of exposing the fraud that is occurring right on their front doorstep. Back at City Hall, we took a closer look at some of these petitions and found that they were pushing some rather deceptive and predatory measures, including a push for a one-time wealth tax on the wealthy, billionaires, being pushed by Suzanne Jimenez, the Chief of Staff for the United Healthcare Workers of the West.
We have one that taxes billionaires 5%.
What they do is they want high tax rates so then they can get money so they can write loopholes in it for their buddies. Their buddies get the loopholes, not the average person.
5% tax on billionaires?
One-time tax, 5%, and that's going to go towards healthcare and food service, our food system.
And should we...
And that's so they can waste that money.
Tax the billionaires more, or will they just leave the state?
We should tax them.
Tax them.
Tax the billionaires.
How much fraud is there in the state of California? Order of magnitude.
I have millions, hundreds of millions, I can imagine.
So should we tax the billionaires or get rid of the fraud?
Both.
The billionaires say they're going to leave the state.
But it's impossible to stop fraud. Would have been happening, right? Don't you think?
I guess that's a question about human nature. What are we smoking?
We smoking good cannabis from California.
California cannabis?
California cannabis.
They put a lot of taxes on it. I don't know why.
Another petition that caught our attention was sponsored by Delta Airlines, United Airlines, and American Hotel and Lodging Association. Top funders, Delta, United, American. So these are the petitioners, and we want to get the signatures as the protesters come into it. There's a lot of people. The city of LA recently raised the minimum wage for airline and hotel workers to $30 an hour, with a raised standard for health benefits by 2028 in anticipation of the 2026 World Cup and the 2028 Summer Olympics. In response, this particular petition that I'm holding,
that's just very inflationary. If you don't have growth to support it, it just causes inflation.
Seeks to overturn that. This explains why companies like Delta and United would pay millions to circulate such a petition. And we get paid $4 to $7 per signature. That's a lot of money.
It is.
That's good money.
Yep.
That's great money.
That's why it's like, I make really good money. I get to push things that I believe in.
Yeah.
So.
As this man told me he gets to, quote, push things that he believes in, I couldn't help but wonder if he was aware that the petition I was currently holding was an endeavor to lower minimum wage for hotel workers who are about to be slammed by the World Cup and Summer Olympics. We found that the validity of the signatures had been contested with allegations that signature gatherers had, quote, egregious misrepresentation of the content and effect of the referendum petition, even stating that referendum circulators have, quote, repeatedly misrepresented to voters they're signing a referendum to increase the minimum wage, the very opposite of what the referendum would do. We even found some people commenting on social media backing up this accusation. One comment read, 2 separate petitioners lied about their petition said. One of them said, we're trying to get a vote on raising the minimum wage. The second guy said, we're trying to vote to allow the hotel workers $30 an hour. But the petition is for a vote on overturning the already approved raised minimum wage. I even read it to the second guy word for word, and he tried to disagree with what was on his own petition. Misrepresenting the contents of a ballot petition is a violation of another California Elections Code law, 18600, which states every person is guilty of a misdemeanor who willfully and knowingly circulates, publishes, or exhibits any false statement or misrepresentation concerning the contents, purport, or effect of any state, local initiative, or recall petition. We also found a petition funded by Uber to, quote, raise the burden of proof for injury victims and limit the amounts they may recover. And Uber is also behind this too a little bit, yeah.
Uber is behind the car accident victims for lawyers.
Car accident victim for lawyers,
so
yeah.
Basically making sure that if you're involved in a car accident, you take home 75% of what the court says you're supposed to.
But notice that this petition circulator, who is paid per signature, neglects to mention that the petition endeavors to limit the medical expenses that victims of automobile accidents may recover and raise their burden of proof. He instead focuses on the claim that the victims would retain 75% of their settlement, a settlement that likely wouldn't even fully cover their medical expenses were this ballot to go through in Uber's favor. According to an article by the publication City Watch, a more affordable California
kind of like they're scamming them.
California receives its funding from Uber Technologies Incorporated, Initiative 250022A1. The so-called Protecting Automobile Accident Victims from Attorney Self-Dealing Act is simply an end play by Uber to preserve its profits by significantly reducing its exposure when their autonomous vehicles injure Californians by deliberately diverting attention away from their own safety obligations.
How much are you going to pay him?
I'm giving him $2 right now for whatever he gives.
$2.
Yeah.
And but how many signatures is he signing?
Oh, he's doing as many as I give him.
And it's $2.
I'm giving him $2.
And here you see that Brenda has the next petition.
That means she's making money on top of that. And then the person above her is making money.
Ready, which makes Uber less liable for car accident injuries. All being signed without a second thought by someone who doesn't know or care what the content of the petition is or what they're
The thing is, they can just make up names too.
Signing, all because they're given cash. We've reached out to the Department of Justice, the IRS, the Treasury Department, the Governor's Office of California, and the Los Angeles County DA's office for comment. On the eve of this publication, the Los Angeles County District Attorney informed us they're opening
Newsom came out and was defending this. Gruesome Newsom.
A preliminary review, and the Public Integrity Division is going to coordinate with us. We also spoke with the President of the United States in person about the contents of this video, and we've been informed the Department of Justice will be taking action. We'll be hopefully having updates shortly, as this is a developing story. And
I think the thing's just so huge that it's going to take some years to totally shut it down. What you do have to do is go after the people above them, not these people on the street. You really have to go after the people above them.
Is more coming. This video is the first investigation being done by a team of citizen journalists all working on the same topic at the same time, but not working for anybody but themselves. The future is not in institutions, but in individuals behaving as a collective. Stay tuned tomorrow for a report from a different citizen journalist on the same topic, and the next day another, and the next day another after that. And stay tuned for next week, where we raise the stakes and the scale of the federal crimes, and we show you things on tape that are so shocking that you won't believe them until you see them. If you're on the inside, please reach out to us on Signal at 914-491-9395 or tips at o'keefemediagroup.com. This video is brought to you.
Sometimes I think a lot of that stuff's just overwhelming. It's unbelievable. All right, here's about the scamming our medical system. This is in Arizona. I got a couple on this. I got on this topic. Another one in California. You know what's going on with the Minnesota and Somalians. It's ridiculous. Watch this.
DOJ dumped all the Medicaid data online for everyone to see. It's a massive file filled with everything Medicaid paid for so that we can dig through it ourselves to see where the money's going. This is huge, and it's already showing some incredibly suspicious providers. The biggest red flag so far is a sole proprietor operating in a van in rural New Mexico who has billed $76 million in 7 years. He's averaging 1,000 claims every day. That is some efficient work happening. There's another single pediatrician billing 830 claims every day for the last 7 years. He's up to $70 million. Not bad for somebody whose practice is based in a residential apartment. There are hundreds of these, and they are so obvious. This is the kind of thing that can only happen when the person paying is spending somebody else's money. Nobody is letting their own money fly out the window to a van in New Mexico. That's why our prices have to be competitive. When you spend your own money, that matters. Head to forestparkpharmacy.com to look at our price checker and transfer today to save. See ya.
Hi, Leader Schumer. You've repeatedly called the Save America Act Jim Crow 2.0. Can you just be a little bit more specific in your comparison between blatant racial segregation and the need for secure elections in America? No? 85% of Democrats support voter ID.
This is not a voter ID bill, period.
Okay, well, don't you think we need a secure election?
Purge the voters off. People know it. And why the right wing is so angry, we call it...
Purge all the illegals off from it, all the dead people off from it.
Jim Crow, because they know it's true.
You said tens of millions of people are going to get kicked off voter rolls. Is that an admission that tens of millions of illegals are voting in American elections?
Bingo! Bingo! You can't answer that one.
The prosecution of the people complicit in cash for ballot deals in California?
AOC's going to kick his butt anyways. More commie going in there. I think
Welcome to California, the homeless capital of
Benny Johnson talking about this fraud.
America. Nearly 200,000 homeless people reside in the Golden State.
It's way worse than Minnesota.
This was bought with taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Obvious fraud. What the hell is going on?
Mayor Bass needs Skid Row for her to get federal money, but the reality is we could fix this if we want to.
I can't believe it. I can't believe that never occurred to me.
Welcome to California.
We just had a whistleblower from inside of the homeless industrial complex. So you believe homeless shelters are being used by illegal aliens?
Yeah. So they're rallying protesters to come and surround us.
This is what LA looks like everywhere. Not just this street, every underpass, every ditch, every overpass, every single intersection looks just like this. You have been lied to. Gavin Newsom, the governor of this state, says that homelessness is down, that he's fixed homelessness, and he's setting records to make the state better. This is a lie. Here's a police officer who is trying desperately to engage with these homeless drug users in their filthy hovels that seem like they've been here for years. This is a choice by the leadership of California to allow this to happen in your...
But billions and billions of dollars goes toward that, right? Where does it go? Oh, yeah, they used a lot of it for the illegals to get nice hotels.
Neighborhoods. The politicians
and food service, some cash on hand, and all that kind of stuff.
are handcuffing the police officers, not allowing them to enforce the law. They're choosing this because people have businesses here. Look, people live here. Why would they allow this? Why are those officers helpless? Because of Gavin Newsom and the Democrats in California. And in this video, we're going to unpack all of it. We're going to prove why the Democrats want to continue the homeless industrial complex. The billions of dollars spent in this state, $24 billion spent on homelessness.
Heather, if you've seen the very few seconds of that video, that girl has died. The one that was talking about the whole jab stuff. She's dead. That was a video that was made, and the other girl at the very beginning was talking about she somehow mysteriously died. Mysterious circumstances.
$170,000 per homeless person spent in this state. Look at that. That's a guy's house right there. You live right there. You're moving because you can't take all the homeless?
Yeah.
Your children live here?
Yeah, it's not part for the street.
Oh, of course that it's not safe. Look at that barbed wire. You're living in a war zone. This is all about trafficking in human misery. Look at this. So that's what we are going to be investigating in this video. The homeless industrial complex that feeds the Democrat Party and their donors in this state, and why they never want to solve any problem like that. Join us for this ride. It's going to be a wild one. Here we go.
California has poured $31 billion of state and federal tax dollars into fighting homelessness over the past few years. That adds up to $170,000 per homeless person. For perspective, that's more than the median price of a home.
So $170,000 per year per homeless person. Where's that money going? They're giving it to illegals.
In West Virginia. That's more than the total GDP of 91 different countries. So what's the result of this astronomical spending? Homelessness skyrocketed in California. They added 30,000 new homeless people. We decided to head to Venice Beach to talk to actual homeless people to see if they've received any of the $170,000.
No, that's LA, not just the state.
That Gavin Newsom has spent on them. Listen to this. We're here on Venice Beach, one of the most famous beaches in the world, and it is absolutely disgusting. It smells like piss and weed everywhere that you go, and there's homeless people everywhere. Let's go talk with some of them and ask, has Gavin Newsom done anything for you exactly?
No,
Nothing. So have you guys seen any of that money? Has anybody...
no.
I got nothing. I'm still right here.
Yeah, I didn't know there was that much money in it.
For $170,000, they could easily build longhouses with 50 to 100 hammocks in each one.
Have you seen any of that money?
No.
$170,000. Have you ever gotten any payments?
Get payment for what?
Yeah, exactly.
Trump said they're going to find out to see where's the money going.
There are 683 homeless nonprofits in California, over $1 billion in annual revenue. This is a
Ellen Lee used to come on here when she was running for mayor in San Francisco, and she was talking about all the money San Francisco was just peeing away on homeless and never curing the problem.
Massive industry. Take, for example, PATH, people assisting.
More jobs, productivity. Solves this issue.
The homeless. This is a major California-based nonprofit focused on ending homelessness. According to their IRS 990 forms, PATH has a total revenue of $181 million. That's grown exponentially in the past few years. It's up 13% year over year. PATH spent $70 million on salaries and benefits alone in the past year. The CEO made over $300,000 this year. Man, you can really put a roof over your head in the homeless industrial complex. And hundreds of millions of dollars that California is spending on homelessness is going to fraud. Here's a report from just last week. $23 million gone.
This man was contracted with the city and county of Los Angeles to house and feed up to 600 homeless people, but instead he was misusing tens of millions of dollars to live a luxurious life.
Probably related to someone there.
The feds say Sucre defrauded the city and county of LA out of $23 million in taxpayer dollars for not only his mansion and car, but a second home in Greece, luxury vacations, designer clothes, and private schools.
Welcome to the world.
Yeah, that really fixed the homeless problem.
Headquarters of Shangri-La Industries, a company that defrauded the state of California of tens of millions of dollars, saying that they would assist with the homeless when they can't even assist with the homeless directly outside of their world headquarters. They promised the state of California they'd build hundreds of units of affordable housing by converting old motels into homeless shelters. What did they end up doing? Stealing that money. Tens of millions of it went to pay for luxury goods, shopping sprees, expensive cars. It went to credit cards for Cody Holmes, who has now been arrested and indicted by the feds for wire fraud. And that's just one example. There's a lot more. Let's go. Welcome to the Weingart Center, a nonprofit that takes hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars from the people of California and delivers homeless skyscrapers at a cost of $800,000 per unit, including lavish amenities like gyms, cafes, dog parks, city views, and art studios. The homeless in California live better than you do. The Weingart Center is at the heart of a federal investigation into fraud overpayment on properties for homeless shelters. A real estate developer bought a former senior facility for $11 million using a fraudulent loan. And then they sold it to the Weingart Center for $27 million the same week. That's a $16 million profit, leading to their CEO and real estate director to be placed on leave. The absolute hellscape.
Pre-planned, all part about bulking the money, the system.
That is downtown Los Angeles. Drive through it. For every one open store, there are 10 that are closed. And that's because the homeless industrial complex has hollowed out downtown LA. There's literally nothing left. Some of these beautiful buildings, old theaters, some of the most gorgeous architecture you've ever seen left to rot and be graffitied. And that's because of fraud like the homeless industrial complex provides. For instance, Urban Alchemy is one of the nonprofits that gets hundreds of millions of dollars from the California taxpayer. Urban Alchemy promised the city of LA that if they gave them millions of dollars, they would be building beds for homeless people. Let's go ahead and check in on that project, which a recent judge just called obvious fraud. Let's go.
The group received $3 million in taxpayer funds to build a safe sleep village in a parking lot that's filled with tents.
Welcome to the famous parking lot homeless shelter, where the city of Los Angeles was billed $200 per night for homeless individuals to sleep in a tent. By the way, half of the beds that they were promised were not built. A judge said this is obvious fraud, and at a charge of $5,600 per month per person in a tent, one of the most expensive rents in all of LA. We are heading now to go see Steve Hilton. He is a Republican candidate for governor. He's doing great in the polls. And he has a location to show us that he says is the monument to...
Do you see it as a possibility in the governor's race that the two Republicans can finish 1-2? Keeping any Democrat from being on the ballot in the fall, and that'll help us down ticket. They're real desperate to get at least one Democrat in the top two. I don't know what they're going to do that.
Homelessness fraud in LA. It is a abandoned motel that is supposed to be...
What they'll probably do definitely is force some other Democrats out that don't have a chance. So they can end up 1 or 2.
A homeless shelter. And it was purchased for like $20 million.
Sure
Nothing's
is.
apparently been done on it. It's still like an ongoing construction site. So we're going to go talk to Steve Hilton and see what we can find out. Let's go. It's my boy, Steve Hilton. Here we go. Great to meet up with you.
Welcome to California.
Like, we didn't even plan this.
We're here for something totally different, but there's just
a lovely neighborhood scene to greet you, Benny.
Team gave me this breakdown.
Seems to have an English
Billions and
accent.
billions of dollars.
We looked at the whistleblower accounts that we had to identify the kind of areas to look into.
So you say that it could potentially be an estimated $425 billion worth of exposure.
And again, we're just finding more all the time. So you can just about make out there up there.
Okay.
You can see Ramada.
Right.
Scrubbed out.
Why don't we just go in?
Let's see what's happening with it.
This was bought with taxpayer.
Well, we have to demonstrate the fraud, and I know it makes you sick too, Marianne, but we have to do this in order to change this.
Dollars, millions and millions and millions of them, and this was supposed to be done and opened in 2025.
They claimed that people were here. The whole world of crony developers that get the money, they give political donations to Newsom and all the politicians. It is totally corrupt. Welfare state and corruption. That is what this is all about.
Goodness gracious. I can't believe that this construction project has been going on for 6 years and there's nothing's been done. How is this a $20 million construction project?
And again, that's what we know about. That's what they admit to.
And we pulled their 990s from the IRS.
Right.
They spent $200 million last year. So it's federal HUD money.
About the wildfire things there, Heather, that's a very good question. I bet you there's a lot now.
That's going to this.
The scale of the money.
The government, the powerful people wanted that land. That's why the wildfires.
In California. It just dwarfs anything in Minnesota. And it's everyone who's watching. It's your money.
We are headed to chat with Sheriff Bianco.
Are you talking about Prickster there?
Who is going to be meeting us in a really dangerous part of LA. Now, luckily, he's got a security team, and he's been fighting homelessness his entire life here in California. He's the single most popular sheriff in the state of California. He wants to be governor. He's doing great in the polls. He says he has a solution to fix California, Los Angeles, and to solve homelessness in 4 years or less. We are here with Sheriff Bianco, who is the #1 leading candidate in the California gubernatorial race right now, out on the streets with us. Here, this beautiful scenic LA street.
It is. It is. Welcome to Los Angeles. It's every street you go on, you're going to find this. But the reality is this. We could fix this if we wanted. I've talked to a couple of the guys here. Morning. This is their life. This is where they live. The one gentleman that I spoke with this morning has been here for 20 years.
20 years on this street?
20 years. 20 years downtown here in downtown Los Angeles homeless. Because we know there are billions of dollars of help out there.
Yes.
So why are we allowing this on the sides of our freeways, on our off-ramps? These are houses here. These are residential houses that have...
Someone's business. Someone's trying to do business there.
This is a residential street. This is the reality of big cities in California that are completely mismanaged when you have so much money that it is easy to hide the waste, the fraud, and the abuse. And thank God that Minnesota happened. Thank God that Nick Shirley did that with what he did. Because what I thought was interesting is the day after Nick did that, social media all...
Like I say, every movement has to start somewhere. To get things moving and get it started. It doesn't just come from nowhere.
Over started saying, yeah, but what about California?
Yeah.
California's got to be worse. And I was sitting there saying, yeah, it's way worse. And bring it on. How are you? What's your name?
Greg.
Greg, good to meet you, Greg.
Can we ask you a quick question? $24 billion has been spent on homelessness. That's $170,000 per homeless person. Have you ever seen any of that money?
Would you like it?
I love it.
How long have you been down here?
Years.
Couple years?
Yeah.
Are you from Los Angeles or did you come from somewhere else? If I created an environment where I could offer you a living facility to come get off drugs, get your life straight, get you some job training and get you back out into the world, would you accept that? Would you be up for that?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Keep your head up and keep going where you're going, and appreciate you talking to me.
You just walk by and engage with more homeless people than I've ever seen Gavin Newsom engage with.
Our politicians only come down here for political shoots. There is no way Gavin Newsom would ever walk and talk up to some random homeless person. I've been doing this for 32 years.
What has to happen is jail time for all the ones behind this stuff. And we got to rake back a lot of that money.
Person doesn't scare me. A criminal doesn't scare me. They're just people. They don't care about these people.
That walk right there, the sheriff just did more for homeless people.
Well, those criminals might be dangerous.
Than Gavin Newsom has ever done in that walk right there. In the middle of our interview with Sheriff Bianco, we had a whistleblower reach out with bombshell evidence from the top levels of a homeless industrial complex nonprofit located in California. We confirmed their identity and confirmed their information, and what they told us was shocking. They told us that the homeless industrial complex isn't there to help out homeless people at all. We're missing the whole point. Here it is. I just want to say thank you for this tip. So you believe or you know that the homeless shelters are being used by illegal aliens?
No.
What percentage?
50%, 60.
Do they ask for any type of documentation or proof when you go in there?
They only ask for, like, if they have a passport.
It's even worse in San Francisco. Most of the homeless shelters are being filled with illegals coming in, and everything's paid for, and they even get cash for their pockets.
You say that the shelters for the homeless are being used by up to 60% illegal aliens, and that they're able to just stay there and live for free and get everything that they need.
Yeah, they stay for like a year and a half, stuff like that. Sometimes it's like an entire family. It's gonna sound crazy. One of the shelters, this Russian family, they're driving a brand new BMW.
This is unbelievable. You see other luxury items like cell phones and stuff?
Oh yeah, everybody has new stuff. They dress well. If you see any of these people on the streets, you can't tell they're homeless at all. At all.
Unbelievable.
This other family, they came from Florida, because of course, things are getting harder over there for illegal immigrants in Florida. So they say, oh, come to California because everything is free. They'll give you anything. So just come down over here.
You said if they have a criminal history, it doesn't matter?
Well, of course, you'll get them, yeah.
Wow. So do you not let the police in?
After the whole ICE thing all over the place, they place signs everywhere that private property, they close the gates, they lock everything down.
What these are like extrajudicial embassies for criminal aliens, illegal and then potentially criminal, where they get to live for free on the taxpayer dollars and be protected from federal agents and police. Wow. You just blew the lid off everything. That's unbelievable.
So they're rallying protesters to come and surround us. We are not going to get help from LAPD. This is the reality of Los Angeles.
I can't. This is crazy.
I mean, they're going to pay some protesters to get there.
They're coming, so they're like staging a mob, and the police say they're not going to help us.
Yes.
And they're going to use illegals to come after them.
So we got to go. We had to get out of this area fast before the anti-ICE protesters got to us. We didn't want a Minnesota scenario happening. So
meaning Antifa.
We hopped in our car and processed what we just learned from our whistleblower. Our whistleblower just blew the doors off the whole California homeless industrial complex. Is it a front for smuggling criminal aliens into California using federal dollars?
Yeah.
Whistleblower says 60% of California's homeless facilities are just free housing for illegals that drive luxury cars and live lavish lifestyles, and that the well-guarded homeless shelters are actually designed to keep out federal agents who would deport these illegals, and we're all paying for it. Could this be true? The answer is yes. California law makes it a crime for a homeless shelter to even ask for citizenship status. You're likely to lose all funding if you do, but it gets even worse. A recently scrubbed article from the Weingart Center, remember the homeless skyscrapers, explains the operation further. Thousands of migrants get bused to cities like Los Angeles without properly planned housing. Migrants experiencing homelessness can be blocked from accessing housing, healthcare, food programs, and other forms of support. The Weingart Center offers housing assistance along with comprehensive services such as healthcare, advocacy, and legal referrals, including
Don't worry, your taxpayer dollars are paying for all that.
Those who are undocumented. The homeless industrial complex is a front for high-end services for illegal aliens.
Yeah, you're right, Heather. A lot of illegals are working at Walmarts. They can't even understand English either.
The Weingart Center creates a welcoming community for the ever-increasing homeless migrant population.
There they said it. The ever-increasing homeless migrant population. That
They need those huge numbers
is the goal. They're creating
so they can keep having an issue, emergency spending, and more spending for it. Then they can traffic in more illegals.
magnets to bring illegals to California from other states.
It's all about the Democrats having ultimate power, a majority in the Senate and House and all that kind of stuff, where you can't even vote it out.
Why? Power. California is set to lose a catastrophic number of electoral votes in the next census based on population laws. The census counts bodies, not citizens. So California has used the homeless crisis as a cover to import illegals, boost their population, and spend billions of your federal tax dollars on this operation. It's all for power. We checked out one of the homeless shelters named by our whistleblower in Hollywood, and you won't believe what we found.
We just had a whistleblower from inside of the homeless industrial complex here in California tell us that the entire system is rigged in order to get around federal law so that federal money can be used to house criminal aliens and their families. They buy luxury goods, they drive brand new sports cars, some of them are from Russia, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, and they live for years inside of these homeless shelters, which are fraudulent and used
rent-free to them. We're paying for it.
To launder federal dollars to criminal aliens, and they come from all over the country here, and they said, you should check out PATH.
Oh, I'm sure the rent in LA is real expensive, but they don't pay it.
In Hollywood, and here it is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the massive, used-to-be hotel that's happening all across California, where old hotels are being converted into homeless shelters. They're spending nearly $200.
You know, they took a vet's building, condemned it. This is in San Diego, and then they converted it into a shelter, and they put a whole bunch of illegals in it. Kicked out the vets. The vets were on the street.
$1 million a year in facilities like this one.
Exactly, Heather.
Now, where's that money come
Absolutely.
from? 90% of all the money is your money. It's your federal dollars. And according to our whistleblower, there's no checks.
Well, I'm sure the politicians get their cut too.
On who's getting this assistance. This is federal dollars going directly to criminal aliens, and they've increased. Look at the size of this facility. Look at this. And they say that the people living here drive Mercedes as well. Look at this.
It's right there in the parking lot. A Mercedes. This place is locked down more than a prison. PATH Villas, Hollywood community. And it's surrounded by luxury vehicles. I mean, here's another BMW.
You don't see the homeless there, but you see a lot of illegals there.
Audi. But it's surrounded by these nice trees. You can see some of the facilities inside. I mean, they look beautiful. They look empty, but they look beautiful.
Let's go around to the front. The reason why the facilities are on lockdown, according to our whistleblower, is because they want to prevent federal government forces like ICE from entering and from doing immigration checks. So what our whistleblower is telling us is that this is simply a massive complex
They're desperate to keep those illegals here.
that is designed in order to get around federal law.
Plus, they get money laundering. Money comes back to them. All these politicians.
It's really nicely funded. I mean, this is where $200 million.
This is why the Democrats are fighting so hard for the voter ID. All these people shouldn't be voting either, but they will be.
$1 goes. Look at the balconies. Look at people have plants up there. It's like like people are clearly living here long term.
It's probably most likely one of these public-private, entities where like part of the housing is affordable housing. But I mean, you can see it's really nice.
Hey, what's up? Have you ever stayed at the PATH shelter here? Yeah. What is it like in there?
It's like single studios.
Yeah. Good. Nice.
Yeah, it's actually.
Did they do any drug or alcohol testing at PATH?
Not that me is aware of.
Did they demand that you be a U.S. citizen to use their facilities?
That I don't know.
No. We've made a good faith effort to reach out to the major homeless nonprofits in LA with emails and phone calls. We got a hold of 0 of the facilities. They refused to get back with us or answer our calls. And so we called HUD. This is the Housing and Urban Development.
Yeah, it's same type of scam, Heather. The homeless one's another one.
Director Scott Turner.
That's why we had trillions of dollars in debt.
In Congress just a few days ago. Have a listen.
And we're auditing public housing authorities to ensure taxpayer dollars don't support illegal aliens. American dollars should benefit American citizens and American citizens only.
I'm sure they're going to find some ways around hiding all the illegals on their things.
We reached out to the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development with the allegations in this report. Turner told us bluntly that HUD will not tolerate fraud. When we find it, we will act. HUD's Office of Inspector General will do everything in our power to prosecute and apprehend those who break the law. And then he pointed us to the prosecutions of a man in LA who stole $23 million from the American taxpayers just this week. He said that more prosecutions will be coming. We hope our...
Part of the problem out there, too, is getting juries that will convict these people because they're so leftist.
investigation leads to more.
Could you imagine what California could be without its thieving, criminal ruling class who has stolen the birthright of all Californians and, quite frankly, America to enjoy this state gifted in natural resources, potential, creativity? There was a time in California's history not too long ago where if you wanted to be anything, man, you moved to California. The movie business, media, space exploration, natural resources exploration, tech, and now those companies can't get out of here fast enough. They're fleeing because of what? The fraud, because of the mismanagement, the corruption, and the open thievery that's happening here at scale, because the rulers of California act like kings who would rather rule over the ashes than a functional civilization that could hold them accountable. And so you got to ask the question, when are the people of California going to do that? When are they going to wake up? When is the fraud going to stop? Make California great.
When you get some good governors, and then also you got to change all the other leaders. Jail time. It's the only thing that works. So, all right, here's about the kickbacks and recruiting others for money laundering, false claims, and stuff like that.
She collected kickbacks, recruited other fraudsters, laundered money, and shamelessly lobbied for elected officials to help continue the flow of money.
Ikram, do you have anything to say?
Ikram Muhammad, one of the most notorious Feeding Our Future fraud defendants, pleaded guilty today. She's responsible for causing $14.7 million taxpayer dollars being stolen.
Are you going to be able to pay back any of the money?
Muhammad worked as a consultant at Feeding Our Future for Executive Director Amy Bach, cheering on Bach's frivolous lawsuit claiming racism if anyone tried to stop them.
The sponsor actually took the initiative to sue. Good for her. I love it.
That's her voice on a secret recording she made when she and a group of fellow fraudsters got a meeting with Attorney General Keith Ellison. It was a month before the criminal case was made public.
Ellison needs to go to jail too.
And Muhammad tried fooling Ellison into stopping those who had cut off the flow of money.
This has been going up for some time.
What the heck, man? Who's minding the store?
As part of her plea deal, federal prosecutors agreed not to charge Muhammad in any other case they're investigating, and that's kind of a big deal.
Ikram, does this mean you won't be charged in the bribe case?
Previously,
I mean, she's going to get away with the rest of it.
Prosecutors said Muhammad played a key role collecting the money that was used to try to bribe a juror in the first Feeding Our Future trial. But Muhammad's guilty plea is a big deal because she was charged along with family members. She recruited her husband, mother, sister, and brothers to run fake meal sites and steal money with her. Now, instead of going to trial in April, they're pleading guilty as well. One exception, Muhammad's brother, Gandhi Muhammad. In court, he turned down a plea deal and said that he will take his case to a jury. I'll be there for that.
I bet you the jury is going to be mostly Somalians. I wouldn't guarantee that he's going to be convicted on much of anything, or maybe a lower charge. I don't know.
I'm Lou Bergoose. Follow for more news.
All right, here's our wonderful, Hochul here in New York. It's Hochul, actually. Anyways, watch what she has to say. I'll have something to say after it.
But maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded. So I philosophically don't have a problem.
Yesterday I did about her getting all these electric plants shut down. Now she's driven businesses out, and a lot of people, wealthier people. Where are they supposed to get the taxes from? Are the illegals going to pay them? I don't think so.
It is like I have to look at the fact that we are in competition with other states who have less of a tax.
People don't understand. You have to have an upper class in order to have a middle class. It just doesn't work without that. You got to have both.
Burden on their corporations and their individuals. And I would say remote work changed everything. There were people who could only work in an office in Manhattan or work in New York State, and they were captives to our state. They were going to stay. We saw that that's not the case. I mean, Wall
Street. I thought kind of Pennsylvania was kind of a purple state, so they wouldn't get away with as much fraud. But yeah, I see it's happening in Ohio, though.
Street businesses looking at Texas, they're not going there because they have a nicer governor. I know that for sure. But they're going there because of the tax rate. We have to be smart about this.
Her and Whitmore, both, Kurt, both of them are real bad. I tell you, some of them are. Don't get me started. Here's Katie Hopkins. She's pretty good. I'll just let her. I'll talk about it after she does her thing.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where Sadiq Khan says he wants to rejoin the EU because he's seen the humongous damage that leaving
the Muslim leader there
has done to London and the UK. Funny that, Sadiq Khan, because we can see the humongous damage that you've done despite only being a nipple-height Muslim mayor of London. Most Americans won't even come to London when they come to the UK now. They go to the
You're not brave enough to bet on that one, huh, John?
Cotswolds and to Scotland because of you. They're frightened of being stabbed or raped or being forced to cult worship in a public square. In other news, Piers Morgan humiliated on his own show. He stormed off of his own show because the TikToker HS TikToky humiliated Piers Morgan by using exactly the same tools that Piers Morgan is desperate for, which is clout and clicks and eyeballs. HS TikToky did a great job. He brought up a picture of Piers Morgan's wife, Celia, who was advertising for a pool boy and some pleasuring, and Piers Morgan didn't like it one bit, nor did he like the fact that HS TikToky brought up his Epstein connections. It's great to see someone play Piers Morgan
whoopsie
at his own game, and I very much enjoyed the work that HS TikToky did. And finally, a lovely PE teacher in the UK called Sam Everett. He once wrote on his own account in his own time, the people over here should respect our laws or leave. That got him into a whole world of trouble. He had to go through some humiliating tribunal to prove that he wasn't sexist or racist. He apologized for the post. He had deleted the post, and it was said that he could continue with his job. In steps the Department of Education, overturns that outcome and fires him from everything, destroying the poor boy's life. It goes to show that the Department of Education is issuing a warning to teachers: you do not criticize migrants in this country, or you will not exist in this country. And finally, my darlings, please do refer to the screen for the information that I think we all need for today. That's it, my darlings. Batshit bonkers Britain.
All right, this is what they. She's talking about the trans youth arrested. Well, just watch the whole thing and I'll talk.
You're going to want to sit down for this one. If you're eating something, I suggest you stop. But it is important that you understand what's happening here. So here we go. This is William Kelso Flournoy IV. He goes by Isabel. He's a transgender youth advocate in Washington State, where he advocates for gender-confused homeless kids. And he was just charged with first-degree rape of a child and sexual exploitation of a minor for sexually assaulting.
What? No, wait for it.
A 6-month-old. Police got a cyber tip.
Sexually assaulting a 6-month-old. What defense does a 6-month-old have against a grown adult with these damn trans drugs in him and the mental issue that they have?
Along with a photo of Flournoy abusing the little girl. I read the police report, and I'll just say that he was doing about the worst thing.
They're pedos.
You can possibly imagine that I won't begin to verbally describe. You're welcome. When police searched his room, they also found multiple baby items that indicated he had some sort of infant role-playing fetish. Last summer, he'd also been found to have peeping Tom-style photos of young teenage girls on his laptop, along with a video of him pleasuring himself outside of a youth homeless shelter. Now, apparently, this one little girl's family were poor and living out of a motel and working multiple jobs. So they invited this guy and his partner to live with them and babysit their child while they were at work. Because apparently a man dressing as a woman wasn't a red flag. And our society doesn't treat it like one, but it should be. It should always be. And this is why. I don't know how many more times we have to read stories like this before we get it. A man dressing up as a...
For everyone I bring up on this, I probably see 10, you know?
A woman is not normal. It is an indicator that something is very, very wrong. At best...
Yeah, if I was in that person's family, whoever the mother, father of that 6-month-old, man, I'd be putting them in the grave, I think.
It shows a disassociation from reality. At worst, it shows a perversion.
No, there's Democrats that believe that you should be able to have sex with kids day of birth. They frequently, openly say that. They're minos or whatever it is. Minor attractive persons crap. They're trying to pass that crap.
Version that goes way beyond wanting to wear high heels. And society should start treating it like the 5-alarm bell that it is, because kids should not be paying the price for this left-wing insanity.
No words, no words.
I was just in the gym, and while I was scrolling through social media in between sets, I came across this video that was released from the Epstein files. It was just this video of a line full of kids, and he had taken one of the kids.
This is the one where I only showed a few seconds of it. I have seen the whole video.
Grabbed him by the arm and started shoving him underneath a
She's talking about it. She's not showing it.
Bathtub of water, while all the rest of the little kids started screaming and fell to their knees. And I watched this little kid get... This is Instagram. This is like, I didn't ask to go looking for these things. In fact, I have like...
Yeah, the lions there, John. That's a good idea. That would give us entertainment, too.
Tried to stay away from it because I don't want it to infect my brain like that. I started sobbing in the gym because I was scrolling on Instagram. And I know the people in the Epstein files, the reason why they go after these kids is because if you ever did that in front of a grown man with a set of morals, you would be dead. They would kill you on spot. And they should. The stuff that is in these, it is evil. It is evil. And we are subjecting our brains to it, like, that's scarring. I've never scrolled out of Instagram so fast in my life. I just don't think that this is good for our mental health. It's good to be aware and know the evil, but at the same time, like, when the evil infects your brain to the point where it hurts your subconscious, like...
They're doing that for the adrenochrome.
It's like these little kids, like... I don't even know how to pray hard enough.
Marianne, me either. Not normally. Not until you're pushed to this limit.
For these children. I literally don't know. I do not know how to pray hard enough. I don't know. This is tough. And I think that it's important to, like, save our brains, but at the same time, how do you? It's all over Instagram. It's all, and they did this for a reason. If you can't see fully through it right now, like, they're doing this for a reason. The reason we're at war, the reason that Israel is doing what they're doing, the reason that the Epstein files just got released, the reason why they gave us AI. This is no longer a battle between right and left, but it is between good and evil. And that is pure fact. This is Satan's world that we're living in, and it's very, very apparent. I don't even know how to handle what I just watched in the gym. I don't even know how to do it.
All right, I'm going to change subjects a little bit here to get off of that for a while. This is in Denmark. Oh, actually, a lot of Europe, they're doing this. They're putting something in the feed for the cows and bulls and stuff like that. That's actually harming us, but it's also changing how much milk they're delivering. It's altering them. They've been doing this for a while, and that's coming to America. Watch this.
In Denmark, cows are dying and producing less milk because they're adding Bovaer to the food. You know, Bovaer was mandated to be added to the food in Denmark from October 1st, 2025. And now farmers are reporting that cows are, like, you know, producing less milk. Some cows are even sick. They have to euthanize some cows. And the farmers think it's Bovaer. So now they launched an official investigation into that substance. And, you know, I talked about...
Rucker, there is evil in this world. We always have to deal with some.
This last year, Bovaer is something that, these crazy climate people want to add to the food so the cows would fart and burp less. So, what could go wrong, right? And I said it last year, what could go wrong if you're going to, hijack nature and trying to make these natural processes of farting and burping for these cows? You're going to try to stop that because of this climate change craziness. It's absolutely insane. And of course, who's behind this is Bill Gates.
It's all about population control and them controlling us. They want us broke.
He's promoting substances like Bovaer because he says,
if we own nothing and they control everything, they have total control.
We need to go to synthetic beef. We need to stop, he says we need...
where they can put that synthetic beef?
To make the cows stop farting and burping. He literally says that. So it's crazy. And now you see that it's mandatory to add Bovaer in all the farms in Denmark. And, it has a bad effect on the cows. And they're actually launching an official investigation. And for God, I hope they stop this craziness. So, we can leave the cows alone. We can stop this meddling with nature. Because in the end, it's an agenda to try...
It's whoever controls the AI, right? Don't want it in the wrong hands.
To attack us, to dehumanize not only the animals, but also us, because the Bovaer gets in their tissues, we eat it, and actually Bovaer has been proven to attack human fertility. There's a substance in it called 3-NOP that attacks human fertility. So this is part of this transhumanism and trying to create synthetic humans, to try to, create babies in labs and all that stuff. I mean, it goes way bigger than this. But this is why Bill Gates is behind it, because it's part of this transhuman agenda, this elite agenda to, basically take over the evolution of humanity.
Oh, I don't know. They're terrible to the farmers, I tell you. That's ridiculous. All right. This is about the schoolgirls. Watch this.
Okay, please listen to this. This is about the Minab school. I've been watching this whole online fight between Owen Jones and Omi Jalili on X over the Minab Girls School.
It's a different video than I thought, but this is about the bombing thing.
And I paid attention because I'm hearing very different things from people who actually live there. One of my longtime trusted followers finally got a slow VPN connection from her cousin in Minab. His niece was in that school and she was killed. And I want to share his account, not as a proof, obviously, in a courtroom, but as the reality of a family who buried their child. He says that building was never just a regular school. It used to be part of an IRGC base called Tipe Asef. Later, they turned it into a cheap, affordable school to make parents feel comfortable sending their kids there. Next to it, they turned another IRGC building into what they called a health clinic, again, to calm people down. But according to him, inside that clinic, there were still 2 missile launchers left in place. On the roof of that school, they had what locals called a dakal. Basically, I guess what a dakal is a satellite dish or signal antenna. So even after they put children in the classrooms, the military signal equipment stayed active. Here's where it gets disturbing. There was another school right next door. That school wasn't hit. Only this one, the one with the dakal on the roof, and the IRGC history was destroyed. He also says that parents known in the town as the sepahis, the ones that are regime aligned, didn't send their children to school that day. To families on the ground, that doesn't feel like random tragedy. It feels like somebody knew. He was comparing it to what happened in Tehran with a hospital near the state TV infrastructure, the Seda Sima. Again, the same kind of antennas, the same pattern of putting sensitive equipment right next to civil.
It's the globalists thinking that they're global warming heads, or that's what it's about. And they're all selling this bull crap so that they can extract more money from us and that.
Billions and acting shocked when those places are targeted. From his point of view, as a grieving uncle, either a missile was launched from that health center and misfired onto the school, or the regime knowingly used a school full of girls as cover for military hardware and signals. In both cases, they see the regime as responsible, and he's begging for this to reach people with a platform to check satellite images, to look at the actual layout, the old base, the fake clinic with launchers, the dakal on the school roof, the untouched school next door. So when Owen Jones goes online and calls all of this insane false claims pushed by a pro-war British Iranian, he's not just dismissing Omi Jalali, he's dismissing this uncle in Minab whose niece never came home. This is exactly the problem many of us have with a certain Western left. They say they stand with the oppressed, but the minute Iranians or Jews or women or anyone else tell a story that doesn't fit their tidy narrative, suddenly we're hysterical, misinformed, or doing propaganda. Our dead become a debating point in their podcast war. I'm not asking you to blindly believe any government's version, not Washington's, not Tehran's, not Tel Aviv's. I'm asking you to at least listen when families inside Minab risk everything to send out messages through a weak VPN trying to explain why they think their daughters died. Listen, you don't have to agree with my politics or with Omit's. But if your politics require you to shout down the people who are actually burying their children, then maybe the problem isn't misinformation from Iranians. Maybe the problem is your ideology.
Yep. I just want to add this one in. This is one of the worst head-on crashes I've ever seen. Watch this. You ever seen anything that bad? I don't know. All right, this lady's pushing for the Emergency Act. See what you think.
Mark Carney is butthurt that his opinion about the Freedom Convoy being a sedition has been thoroughly rejected. His government...
I forgot to say this is England.
Government has challenged the Federal Court of Appeals Emergencies Act ruling on the very last day the decision could be appealed.
Okay, Charles.
2 courts have already ruled that invoking the Emergencies Act was unjustified, unreasonable, and it violated our charter rights. Yet at the last possible minute, the Liberals raced to the Supreme Court, begging to justify freezing bank accounts and crushing peaceful protesters.
Oh, there's Canada,
this
not
isn't about
England.
public
I'm sorry.
safety.
This is Canada. So all that money they took from the truck drivers and bank froze their bank accounts. They want to keep it.
It's a desperate, frantic move to rewrite the law and to dodge accountability, and probably justify the use of the Emergencies Act in the future when there's potentially another protest that the Liberals disagree with. Enough of this. Canadians need a government that respects the courts instead of desperately clinging to power by any means necessary.
Yep. Okay, here's a Democrat that woke up, become a Republican, and explains why.
I used to be Democrat and now I'm not. Somebody from my hometown asked me why. They just sent me a message a couple days ago. I could make very long videos and talk about all kinds of stuff, but this sums it up better than anything. When Trump won the first time, it showed us just how evil the Democratic side is. And I know liberals are going to take offense to that, but that's how it felt for me. When he was elected, I was so upset. I was sad. I thought, oh my gosh, here we go. We're going to go to hell in a handbasket, this country. How could you elect this guy? And I was waiting for that other shoe to drop. Now, the thing is, I'm a patriot. I love this country. So I didn't go out and hoot and holler when Trump got elected. I just accepted it because obviously Americans wanted that. So I accepted that he was president. I didn't like it, but I accepted it. And I was waiting for that other shoe to drop. You know, the one where he was going to ruin our country? But that shoe never dropped. But I can tell you what shoe did drop. Day after day after day, the behavior of the left, the behavior of the Democrats was so appalling. I mean, it was just thing after thing after thing when Trump took office that first time. And it got worse and worse and worse. And the thing is, that behavior hasn't stopped. It's just increased over the last 10. I mean,
I'm encouraged seeing how many people are waking up.
It's just gotten, well, it's gotten unacceptable.
Yeah, got to get rid of the cheating and the illegals out of here, and then we'll have a good country.
Acceptable 100%. Now, not only am I not a Democrat, I'm actively speaking out against them. That's how bad I think it is. So, yeah, if that sums it up for you, I'd always voted Democrat. Thought Trump was going to be terrible. He wasn't terrible. The Democrats were.
All right, this is Huntington Park in California. They're stealing electric wires. I don't know how the hell they cut these wires down with the power going through them without getting electrocuted. I don't know how they did it, but watch this.
No te da vergüenza, güey. Tan joven, no mames.
Looks like they cut all the cables and everything. Everyone lost their TV and everything. They're stealing the wire.
Hurry the fuck up, whoa! Get the fuck where you going, dog? Hey, ahora por favor. No hay problema, suelta. No mames, güey, no esté viniendo aquí. Aquí no venga, de menos esta calle.
They're not speaking English.
Güey, menos te está cayendo el dinero. Aquí en Hampton Park no vayan con la raza a chingar, cabrón, váyanse a otro lado. Ahí era tu puto, güey, tumbando los cables, güey, le puede caer a la gente, no mames. Y ese güey todavía se pone bravo. Ese puto, ponte bravo, culero. Aquí no vengas aquí, güey. Ve a otro puto barrio, güey.
Tells you they're foreigners and they're stealing wire. Unbelievable. How much is that going to cost us to get that all fixed and put back?
Aquí no andas viniendo, güey.
Don't come back, bitches. Leave it. Drop it. You're not taking it, my boy. Just leave it, dog. We're not going to come back. You're not coming back. Get out.
I know, we're not coming back.
Leave it.
My boy.
My boy, I've been in your position. It's not the way, my boy.
No, güey, aquí no. Ponte a trabajar, cabrón.
Okay, this is how bad it's getting in Canada with that socialist government they have now. The one who's part of the World Economic Forum up there. Watch this about losing over 109,000 jobs. It'd be equivalent in America if you lost almost 1 million jobs.
Canada just lost 84,000 jobs in a single month. In U.S. terms, that is almost 800,000 jobs in a month. That goes on top of losing 25,000 jobs in the previous month, January, which is another 250,000 in U.S. terms. Of course, 96% were private sector jobs over the 2 months. Government workers are doing just fine. Meanwhile, a new study found over half of Canadians have to borrow money for groceries, including buy now, pay later and payday loans. It also found over half of Canadians are skipping meals to make ends meet. That is partly because they don't have jobs and partly because food inflation is now the highest in the G7 at 7.3% year on year. Beef is up 17%, coffee's up 30%. Timmy's is a luxury at this point. So incomes are West Virginia, home prices are San Francisco, and now Canadian jobs and groceries are going Venezuela. Broadcaster CBT sums it up, quote, "It feels like an empty pit of despair." But don't worry, assisted suicide is now same day in Canada, perfect if you are hungry and in a rush. The numbers come from Stats Canada, who report 109,000 full-time jobs were torched in just 2 months. Outside COVID, that
Them being Turks wouldn't surprise me at all, Ian.
is the most since the 2008 crisis. This sent unemployment to 6.7%, which is 50% higher than the U.S. Canadian youth unemployment hit 14.1%, which is 1 in 7. Keep in mind, that's just people actively looking for jobs. It does not count discouraged workers who have given up. That might bring it to 1 in 4 young Canadians. So what's driving it? Well, part of it was importing 4 million third world migrants. That's about 40 million in U.S. terms, who turned
That'd be like us bringing in 40 million.
Canada into a one-party communist state, liberal state, and raised welfare.
That's why Saskatchewan and Alberta want to separate and become part of USA.
Costs and taxes to the point Canadians can only spend half their paycheck. But the other part was Canada's globalist tool Mark Carney going elbows up with Trump.
Yeah, China's trying to take over Canada.
Meaning let's fight, playing the
Little by
nationalist card instead of negotiating to reduce Canada's trade barriers that shut out American goods. To give a flavor, Canada puts 160% tariffs on American eggs, 200% on chicken, 298% on American milk, cheese, and butter. They block American banks, while Canadian banks have grabbed $700 billion of U.S. deposits, and they block American trucking, replacing us with Indians who have killed dozens of Canadians, including a crash in
That part's for you there, Gregory. A lot of foreigner Indian drivers.
Saskatchewan that killed 16 members of a junior hockey team. The trade war drives food inflation since half of Canada's imported food comes from the U.S., so retaliatory tariffs get passed on. And the trade war is crushing Canadian manufacturing as companies flee to the U.S. Jeep just moved its biggest plant ever from Ontario to Illinois and Ohio. Nationwide, goods-producing sectors in Canada lost 28,000 jobs last month, 250,000 in U.S. terms in a single month.
So Elbows Up plays great with Canada's elite, who are willing to sacrifice Canadian blue collars to score points on America and Trump. Many probably enjoy the sacrifice since Canada's left-wing elite hates blue collars just like in America. So as next brought to you by I Trust Capital, it's going to get a lot worse because the U.S.-Canada trade deal, USMCA, is up for renegotiation by July, and Trump has been very clear he wants major revisions, or even a pullout. USMCA currently exempts 6/7 of U.S.-Canada trade, meaning if Trump rewrites it or withdraws, it could threaten 2.3 million Canadian jobs. U.S. terms, that is 20 million jobs. That would be the biggest drop since the 1930s when there were soup kitchens across Canada. Follow for daily videos. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time. Gold and silver prices have been all over the...
I won't play that. That's an and. Why don't we do the assault one? Okay, ICE agent getting assaulted by multiple people. Watch this.
I just want you to know, somebody almost got shot tonight, and I'm going to slow-mo it for y'all. Watch this ICE agent reach for his gun.
I don't blame them. They were all trying to beat him up. All these Antifa, Trantifa. Fuck you guys! Fuck you! I'd have a hard time doing their job with these idiots. I don't know. All right, Virginia leadership more concerned about protecting the illegals.
This 19-year-old illegal alien groped a dozen girls in a Virginia high school. And guess who's protecting him from...
12 girls.
ICE. Everyone in Virginia. Israel Ortiz was somehow attending a Fairfax high school as a junior, where he grabbed a dozen girls, most of them right between the legs, according to parents. He's finally been arrested, but the county sheriff, Stacey Kincaid, and Mrs. Gulch, Governor Spanberger, are refusing to hand him over to ICE. This is how they treat their constituents. Nothing says you guys matter to me like keeping a child molester around. Great job voting these girls in, Virginia. Cracker Jack.
Unbelievable. I hope that they can do something about that in the midterms or something, where they can get some more, House and members of the state house and stuff like that that can do something about that.
Trump just ran the most brutal loyalty test in NATO history.
Yeah, loyalty test here. I forgot what this one was about. Yeah. I'll start from the beginning again. Watch this.
Trump just ran the most brutal loyalty test in NATO history, and every single ally failed it. Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz, 20% of the world's oil, gone. Prices spiked 40% overnight. So Trump went on Truth Social and called out his allies by name. China, France, Japan, South Korea, the UK. Send warships, protect the strait. You need it more than we do. The responses came back fast. Japan said, legally impossible. Germany said, not our war. Australia said, we won't send a ship. UK said, we won't be drawn in. Every country Trump named, zero commitment.
All right,
then
John.
Trump walked to the podium and said this, we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. I'm not doing this because I need them. I'm doing it to find out how they'll react. Because I've been saying for years, if we ever needed them, they won't be there. For 40 years, America protected these countries, and they won't send a single minesweeper. This wasn't a coalition request. It was a loyalty audit, and they all just failed it in writing.
I don't know what everyone thinks. It seems like it was to me, too. All right, this is about the hospice fraud. Someone was talking about that earlier. I knew I'd eventually get to this one.
I want this story to be a reminder to everybody that if you see something, you got to say something. It's because of the neighbors speaking out that these folks are rescued. But I came here to study another issue. How did this horror story happen? I'm going to share a horror story that happened here in Carson, which is a suburb of Los Angeles. And it has to do with hospice fraud, but not the way I've ever seen before. Chillingly, they have these homes that are called six-packs. They're called six-packs because you can put 6 residents in the home. If they're seniors and you sort of treat them like they're hostages, you don't give them much, you can make a lot of money off them. And it actually happened in this home behind me. In fact, someone died by that couch behind me last year because of the poor care they were getting potentially. But what we do know is when officers came here and were able to arrest the owners of this house, and they owned 2 other houses, they discovered deplorable conditions. Folks who were malnourished, being served moldy food, not getting the care you would want if you were living anywhere, much less in a facility that was supposed to be taking care of you. But it was much worse than that. These individuals, although they were sickly looking, they weren't dying, but they were put on hospice. Now, why would they do that? The owners of this business actually knew the hospice business. They had been in it, and CMS had one by one revoked their ability to bill us. And for that reason, they had shifted their tactics. And this is something that could happen again. By creating a 6-pack where they could house 6 individuals, they traffic them. They steal their information. They spread that information to accomplices who own hospices. They pretend that they're on hospice, even though the people in this home, the seniors, they didn't know they were on hospice. They weren't dying. They weren't supposed to be on hospice. But these other hospice centers charge $6,000 a month per person. That's $36,000 a month that could be made in this house. That's a lot more than rent, which, by the way, they might have been charging Medicaid as well. But the Medicare
Don't worry, we're paying for it with our tax dollars.
System is not designed to take this many people on the hospice who are healthy, not supposed to be on it. And so over time, these guys made more and more money. They apparently bought a beach house, which they hid behind a church license. I mean, to hide their financials. They're clever individuals, nefarious in that regard. But what it shows more than anything else is 2 realities. The people in here were only rescued because the neighbors in this neighborhood were willing to step up and say, hey, I'm seeing something.
You know how they were trapped in there. See how we said rescued? You trap them in there and you keep charging the government for it, and they don't get out.
Wrong. You guys are going to come down and visit. And although cops had been here before, when the neighbors called and complained, they actually came by and took it seriously and rescued those seniors. The second thing it shows you is these nefarious fraudsters, if they're willing to steal your money, they're willing to steal your health. They'll steal your life. And that's why the normalization of hospice fraud in California has to stop. The numbers are shocking. Roughly 1/3 of all hospices in the entire country are here in Los Angeles. And that only happens because people aren't paying attention. We're here to take it seriously. We're here to stop this fraud going forward.
Unbelievable. Before I go, I got one more video, but I wanted to show this. Let me enlarge this. I guess this dropped today. This is paperwork on Omar. It turns out that she was really 18 when she came to the country, so she couldn't be a legal immigrant under her dad's name as her daughter coming in. So she would have had to apply for herself. She had a name. Oh, this is her marriage license. She changed her name. Where is it here? From Ilmar to Omar. So yeah, Elmar, Elimi. So she might be deported. It looks like her marriage license thing was all a fraud too. So I just wanted to show you that. All right, I'll play one more video. I'll see you tomorrow, probably at 5. This one's about Cuba.
Breaking news as of last night, it looks like Elon Musk has hooked the Cuban people up with Starlink. Now, what people need to do is basically be at a higher area in Cuba, turn off their phones, turn off their Wi-Fi, and when they see Starlink, click on Starlink. This has been done so that the American people can know exactly what's going on in Cuba as that regime goes down. I am so happy. Finally, Cuba va a ser libre, thanks to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. God, may you continue to protect this man. This man comes with a message. This man comes with an agenda. This man is going to change the world, and he will go down in the history books as the best president in the history of presidents. Whether you people believe it or whether you don't, it is fact. This guy was chosen by God. The trumpet. Remember those words, the trumpet. Like I always say, God bless you. God bless America. God bless the President of the United States and his administration. God bless our military men that are fighting for us in Iraq and Iran. and hopefully they will come home soon, safely. And don't forget, Donald Trump is still your president, and God bless Cuba. Let this transition go fast. And for my Cuban Americans and for my Cubans that are here, Cuba libre. Cuba va a ser libre.
I'm just wondering, I see so many of these Cuban women who dye their hair red. I don't know why they do that. That's not natural, that's for sure. All right. God bless everyone. Hopefully you had a wonderful time. I stayed on a little longer because I know Vivi wasn't doing a show. So, all right. Take care. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.